conversations with anyone that feels that way. I'm like, why do you think that? Like, how did you get there?
I've never come across somebody in person that was that strong on it.
Well, I've come across people that will only, like a black dude that will only date a white girl. Yeah. He's like this. Yeah, you just like this. He's like, I'm sorry. Like this is why I like that skin.
This is a weird world.
And a lot of them from Chicago.
Yeah.
And some of them rappers. So too many rappers died.
They do.
You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy.
They do.
I don't know if that's something that's heavy in the culture that people talk about, that like there's this one genre of music where a significant amount of people die. Like, think about, like, if you heard that 4 pop stars got killed this year, everyone would be like, yo, what the fuck is going on?
But the thing is, and I said it to you, so you can, because I'm gonna play something for you too, and it's not gonna get smoked because it's not gonna get smoked. It's copyright protected.
Okay.
But so rappers.
Wait, why is it copyright protected?
You'll see.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't even know if we'll put this part on the podcast. If Duty pull up, I want the nigga to talk about it too.
Okay.
But no, rappers be getting popped because of like who they are, where they come from. Like, imagine if like the Marines who came back from, like, that's not even the same because they leave it over there. But like a lot of them, we know where they come from, and that's the appeal and why they get big.
Yeah.
Like, I thought about it this week. I was like, damn. Now that I think about it, rappers who get big and that come from certain hoods, like, they must obviously be about that shit because the hood is letting them get famous. You get what I'm saying?
Okay. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, for sure.
Like King Von. So he
you would have been had your card pulled. Somebody would have been exposed to you. Like, it wouldn't have. Yeah, the city would not have allowed your growth in that way if you were not legit. If you weren't certified.
You recognize that?
I've never seen this gentleman before.
Okay. Well, he was getting ready to really blow up when he died.
Okay.
But the thing is, like, when he first popped off, started getting popping, it was like 2018. But this is he was from Chicago. He's part of that Chief Keef group. Mm-hmm. Like, they all grew up same neighborhoods. They're in the same gang.
They're all real killers.
They're that gang. They're all the same gang together. So while Chief Keef was blowing up, when we were running around 1240.
Yeah.
Talking about, nigga, I'm 300.
Yeah.
Even that fateful night. I'm pretty sure we played that fateful night.
I remember that. I remember that wave. That wave.
So King Von.
I didn't understand that either. Even back. I remember when y'all were playing that. And I was like, what the fuck is this stuff that they're playing?
It's like 2013 and shit.
Okay.
So like, even then we knew that, okay, these niggas were like real. We knew that they was killing niggas, bro. But King Von was like one of the main niggas killing niggas. Like, he was like during that time, but he wasn't a rapper. You know what I mean?
Okay.
But he was one of the main ones putting in all the work.
Jeez.
While Chief Keef and them were blowing up. Right? So, long story short, he gets in trouble for some of the work that he put in. Mm-hmm. Evades it, beats the case, gets out, and then around 2017, he links back up with like Durk and them, Lil Durk. I know you know that name.
I know Lil Durk. I've heard Lil Durk.
So Lil Durk and like Lil Durk's telling him, yo, come rock with me, like, become a rapper. Like, all that shit that you did, let's just rap about it and let's just get money like a legal way. It's easy. He was still on some like, man, I don't know what the fuck you talking about. Cause he talked about in interviews, like, his plan was to hang out with Durk, be around some famous niggas, and then like rob one of them, like hit one of them niggas for like $100K, and then go back to the hood with it. Like, that.
Oh man.
But like, it's hard to put it into perspective in a short amount of time. Just like everything the nigga was doing.
Right.
Because like when he was blowing up, I thought, 2018, I see him come out. I'm thinking, oh, he's, an internet nigga. Because that's what he was. He was all about the internet, tweeting, Instagram shit. Like, and he just seemed like, one of the tension type niggas. So I'm thinking all that shit is like exaggerated a little bit.
Okay.
I'm thinking
you're thinking it's clout chasey, clickbaity, or clickbaity.
But like, there was always rumors that like, nah, like King Von put in work. He killed a bunch of niggas out here in Chicago and shit. And like, you would see the rumors, oh, he got like 6-7 bodies. So I'm thinking All right, he probably killed like 3 or 4 niggas. You know, which sounds crazy.
Yeah, to even
see, right?
Like, oh, he probably only killed about 3 or 4 of them,
right? And this is like the general consensus too. Like, but the people from out there, niggas knew, like, nah. Like, so there was a documentary that just came out like 2 weeks ago, and this guy does documentaries on a bunch of like the gangs, rap shit. Like, he just does his little homework on it. A lot of facts. This nigga killed, like, personally, like, minimum, went outside and killed, like, at least 7 niggas. Possibly 10. And was responsible for a lot more. But the thing is, it wasn't even like, it was like an incident, like, oh, we at the gas station, some shit pop off, oh, kill the nigga, yeah, nigga, get up out of there. It wasn't like a battle. This nigga was on, like, some, like, we sitting in the crib, and he just, like, he saw it as, like, a sport. Because it was the 2 gangs. Right. And you know, the Not From 63rd shit. Like, you ever
I don't know about Not From 63rd.
You ever heard people saying that shit? Like, I'm not from 63rd. People on the internet will say it. Because out in Chicago, like, the hoods, like, the 2 groups, main groups that were going against each other, they're so close. Like, one of them's from, like, 64th and 65th Street in this area. Yeah. And literally, like, 1 street over, my nigga, like, in a big city. Like, 1 street. That's why it was so bad, because they were, imagine if y'all were beefing with niggas that like live like at the apartments across the street. Like, yeah,
it's on a lot of the time. Like, we're gonna meet at Sheets to get gas often.
Like, or I'm just gonna walk over there and like tear
or that.
And that was like his thing. He would be sitting in the crib, and like they found the tweets. He tweeted like all his moves. And this is back like in 13, 14, even stretching up to like 15ish. He would like tweet out some shit like a Saturday morning. They got it down to the minute. Yeah, I'm about to go score or something. You know, just I can't remember exactly how he would say it. But then like they would show the report of who died, and then like 15 minutes later, his tweet would come out laughing, mocking that person that just died, and he it was him.
That's a wild. It's such a wild art form that people love this so much because the killing is truly a part of it.
Yeah, but this is like different killing. This is like serial killer. Like
it is.
Like he wasn't. It wasn't like oh, we about to go outside party. Something pops off. I end up killing nigga.
Right.
'Cause I'm the nigga. I'm just good at like defending myself.
Right.
Nah. He was like, oh, my man T-Roy, so like, he got more than me. I gotta go outside and I gotta go get somebody. I gotta score. So then he'll go out and he'll score. Like at like 16, 17 years old. Like putting in work that was like
it's so
and like
it's like on the same level of those little African boys that they would put like AKs in their hands and be a part of the fucking military out there.
This is why it's like this is why it's fascinating to me, because to him, he was like really living in like a war zone.
Right.
He grew up in that shit, so he was like in a war zone. So it was like, instead of like fighting niggas, like I just gotta take them out.
Yeah, that's very true.
But it wasn't even on some like defend myself shit. I gotta just make sure I'm getting out here and I'm just running the score up on him. That was his only thing, is running the score up. We gotta just take him out.
You're growing up as a kid, and that's all you've really been around in your most developmental stages.
Yeah.
And so, like, you're just running around like you're in a video game. Like, it's just a fucking wild, wild west. Like, this is just what it is.
And that's what people were saying out there. They were saying that he was moving as if, like, the police didn't exist. Because at every point in time with the police, they're not coming over there to like solve murders. They're just coming to pick up the bodies. Is there any leads? Oh no, it's gang shit. We know we're not going to solve it. Like 80% of the murders out there during that time, unsolved.
That's so fucking crazy.
80% of the murders unsolved. That's crazy.
80% of the murders unsolved. It's just again, like, as far as the music goes, it's just wild that the killing plays such a big part in the music, which is why a lot of people love it, because of the rawness of it.
Yeah.
And then all that does is further feedback into it, because more people are like, it's a real way for them to make money. And they're like, fuck it. Not only am I going to make this money, I'm going to talk about it, and I'm going to continue to do it.
Yeah.
That's one of those things that's fucked. That's one of those things that's kind of fucked in American culture.
Very fucked.
It's a little fucked.
So like, but like, it's crazy because they literally told him, like, you know what, like, in order to get you like away from it, we need you to just tell your stories and like just try to make songs out of it. And he ended up getting famous for like rapping about the shit that he was doing, that he had done. So it's my analogy was like if Chris Kyle like became a Marine. I mean, not if Chris Kyle came back and became like a country singer and was just singing about like his like how much he loves his country, how much he loved putting niggas down, was like singing specific stories about times he like laid niggas down.
So one, I don't know who Chris Kyle is.
Chris Kyle, the sniper.
Oh, that was like the American sniper, the one that Bradley Cooper did a movie with.
Yeah, just getting him out the way.
So just like the best sniper ever.
Yes.
The thing is that the stories that I get or that I ever hear from Marines, I mean, I'm certain they're just Marines that just like are kind of psychotic and they just want to like kill people. But I think for the most part, though,
make sure.
Yeah, like for the most part, it's not coming from the same sort of place of sort of just like just ignorance that the drill music is coming from.
Right.
It's coming from a place of I'm trying to protect. Like this is a story I'm telling myself. I'm trying to protect the country. It's either him or me. This is what has to happen.
And I know where I'm at, and I gotta just make sure I do what I'm supposed to do.
That's a different way of rap. See, if you were a rapper, and I'm certain that there are rappers out there that we could pick out that don't really glorify this shit, but they speak on what took place. But they're not saying, yeah, this shit is dope. Like I'm finna really get out here and catch another body today. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like those are two different things. Like you really trying to promote and glamorize killing people and all this sort of shit is one thing, and then you just coming from that place and talking about it in a more classy, sophisticated way is a different way of doing it. 100%. And so I feel like if you're saying if a veteran came back and wanted to become a singer and started singing about it,
and was like,
it would be. But I feel like they would be different stories though, because we would be getting it from because the people on the street, they're not really about to come talk to you about like why they had to do this thing and like the nuances of it. They're gonna be like, yeah, I had to smoke that nigga.
Yeah, but that's just the language barrier. You know what I mean? If you talk to them, they'll tell you, man. They'll give you like a backstory. And they'll probably tell you if you knew him. You know, if you talk to him. But
the things that you're saying though, like this King Von, like this isn't. He's not doing it for noble reasons at all. Like he's letting you know, like I'm simply out here. Like there is no language barrier here. I'm letting you know with my words. Yeah. I'm out here just trying to kill niggas. Like
to him, it's like.
But there is nothing noble about this though. Like, do you think that he thinks that what he's doing is a noble, dignified act? I'm getting to. Just of his jungle.
In his mind, he has to like. He had to get rid of more of them than him because it was like eventually. He's thinking it's never going to stop, so I got to take them all out. I'm not about to go. We're not about to all shake hands. The war's not going to stop.
Yeah.
To him, it was
so there just need to be less of them than there are us.
It was like an ongoing war that he grew up in.
Yeah.
And he was just out there running around, just making sure he could take out as many as he could.
Yeah, I mean,
it's fucking crazy.
Yeah. I guess. Yeah, that's when you put it like that. Like you're not doing what we're doing. We're not just going to the gym and sitting around and reading books and like going to work and hanging out with your friends. Like we're not doing that. It's like, no, we're in the middle of an actual war zone. Like we have to be. It's sort of like when I said that like I'm not fitting to go to war, and you were like, yeah, nigga, I'm not going to war either. But if war comes to me, nigga, what you gonna do?
Yeah.
Like you're not fitting to go to war. Like you gotta get active.
You're not gonna be still going to work.
So it's the same thing. If you just grow up in what you believe is a true war zone, what do you want to do?
Yeah.
Are you really worried about your SAT scores? Like, is this really what you're trying to? Yeah.
And then when
that's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Growing up in what you think is a war zone, so it's like I gotta get outside.
Even crazier.
That's fucking crazy.
What's even crazier is when I talk about how close they were. They went to school with the niggas they were beefing with because they lived so close. Like they went to the same high school and shit together. Like they knew them.
That's so crazy.
And so they're out there just taking them niggas out. Like
how is in any way, shape, or form in this world that you and I are talking about is education a thing? How do you go to school and try to? This shit was difficult enough for me, right? And I'm in the middle of the suburbs. Like, how do you go to school and try to focus on the books and what the teacher's saying and how to expand your mind? Like, how in the hell are you doing that?
Because
there's no way, there's no shot.
They said that he was like the first one to start bringing his gun to school. Like he brought his little gun and it was like, yeah, that's when like they started bringing guns to school out there. The nigga tweeted at one point, this school's about to get shot up. That school got shot up. He did it, and like. But this is still like 2012, like 13, 14. This is long ago. Then he blows up in 18, and it's getting out that like, oh, you were that nigga that was doing all that shit. Like, oh, shit.
Yo, perspectives are so crazy.
And it was just mind blowing to find out that like, oh, not only that nigga was underrated, like not underrated as in the music term, but like
underrated as far as the work that he had put in the streets.
I thought the nigga was just out here exaggerating, like most motherfuckers would be doing. Yeah, and also like guns.
Oh my
are like
goodness,
fists.
man!
Guns were like fists to the niggas, like fights. Guns were shooting was like fighting.
Damn it!
Shooting.
This shit is so fucking crazy. It's like, you know, because you're sitting here talking to me about, and how much time do you put into researching this? Like, why do you know about all this stuff?
It was a 4-hour documentary. Like, that is basically what I'm getting at. Is like he really might be the.
Do you feel a kinship with these men? Like, I feel like you do. Like when you talk about them, I feel like you really understand like what the fuck is going on.
Yeah, because I think there's a perception of like what people think they're thinking versus what they're really thinking.
Okay.
Because like we were saying, if you grow up thinking that you're in a war zone, like they're not in the same like country we're in.
Right.
That's like a different country. Like you're waking up, like even Duty would tell you, like when living in the South, like just seeing bodies laid out on Christmas Day, that's almost like a. You're gonna grow up a little different in the brain,
for sure.
So it's just fascinating when you like really get to try to understand somebody's like psyche like that.
When he told me that he had seen like that there was a dead body on the side of the road, like in a trash bag, and it was like leaking blood, and that somebody like an uncle, somebody ushered them back in the house, like get in the house.
I live like 2 miles away from them.
Yeah,
not even 2 miles, like a mile and a half. I ain't seen no dead bodies.
Right, like that's so crazy that just a few streets over, you're living
a completely different existence.
Yeah, and you have a school bus that comes and picks you up and brings you to school. He does not. Inclement weather, they just all have to walk or not go to school, which is often what they did.
Yeah.
When I heard the stories of just like, yo, get in the tub, like they're shooting outside, you know what I mean? I never had to jump in the tub. And I was across town, so it was like 15 minutes across town, but still, like, I had no idea that 15 minutes down the street, this other world was happening. Because for me, it was riding bikes outside and fucking playing basketball, playing tag, going in front, just doing regular.
Well, they did all the same shit, but there was also that thought of something might happen. We have to know what to do.
Yeah, for sure.
That shit happens.
Yeah.
But like it was crazy. Like it was like a mind blowing thing of thinking like, oh, this might be like really like when rappers talk about who's the realest, who did this, who did that. It might have been that motherfucker the whole time. Which is like serial killer type vibes. You know how people are real fascinated, like the serial killers that go around and stab people in the necks and dumb shit. It's like it's very similar to that because he started trolling a lot. He would like talk about cereal, like actual cereal online and shit, and do interviews while eating cereal. So he started to feel like he was in that realm in a way. He's just running around.
There's just no fucking shot, man. It's just, and some people are they're just given that hand of cards. Yeah. Like there was just no shot. There was just no shot for him.
And then after all that,
fucking way.
He ended up getting killed in Atlanta. Not even in Chicago. Shot and killed.
Yeah, I would not feel comfortable going anywhere if my claim to fame is being a killer. But I don't want to go anywhere. I don't want to be around people I don't know.
But when you have the psyche of like, I'm like a vet, like this is what I do, you walk around different. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's very true. Yeah, if you've that's beaten death a few times.
Yeah, like you're the way you're thinking is different. You're just like, I'm always like, and can't be comfortable. Can't be a comfortable life at all. It definitely wasn't a comfortable life at all.
Fuck no.
You know what I mean? Like no.
Nah, I don't want to do that. I can't. Oh my gosh, man, that's so crazy. What has to happen? Rap is relatively new, right? 70s, 80s maybe you want to say. So this is worse, right? Yeah, because this hasn't been a thing before, right? So this is getting worse. So are we gonna see it get better? And if so, how?
The quality of life,
or does it just keep
get better? Like,
right, so it's just gonna get worse and worse.
That life that people are living out there just has to not exist for the music not to exist.
That's fucking crazy.
Yeah, like you don't hear people like rapping about they driving around or running people.
But if you just so that's so much death that happens in like Chicago. I remember it was like some ridiculous number over like the July 4th weekend of last year or something like that. It was just like every July 4th weekend probably there. It's like for 3 days it's just like wild killings, like hundreds of people have died. And I'm just like, holy shit, like how do you even just live around that? Oh my god. Like say like you're not even in that.
That's what I'm saying.
Like you're not even about the gang life, but you just live around it. Like this shit's just constantly happening. Like either you're a good kid, Mad City, and you're just the kid that's just around, just trying to fucking focus on school and trying to go home and help your grandma with the groceries and just trying to be a regular ass kid. But people to your left and your right are just fucking killing each other and like how do you keep your eye on the ball? Like how do you focus? Like any kid that lives in that and focuses past that is a fucking superhuman.
Yes,
they're a superhuman. They have superhuman focusing ability.
There's athletes that are in the league and shit. That's from that
so
shit.
So crazy.
Yeah.
That's I guess that's like harnessing all of that trauma and hate and uncomfortable and discomfort and like aspirations to get out, and you're trying to put it towards something because like you want out so badly.
Right.
It's like, I don't care what work do we have to do. Like I don't care. What do we got to do? I got to be out here 4 a.m. Start running. Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Not going
What's next? What do I have to do next? I don't care. And get me the fuck out of here.
And that's what happens with them when they start making the music. They're like, shit, I can just do this and not go back to it. But it's like a catch-22 because the music that they have to talk about.
That's what I'm saying. That energy. That's why, like, if I'm trying to be very, very particular with the way that I speak. So if for any reason anyone ever hears the things that I say about them behind their back, I know that people are sensitive and it may not always come out the way that I want it to, but I'm never just shitting on someone. Like I'm trying to say something that makes some sense, so I'm trying to point out a certain characteristic, flaw about somebody or something along the lines of that, right? Or just making an observation. But I never want to be someone I don't want no problems with nobody. Let me put it to you that way. I don't ever want anybody thinking I'm saying nothing because I'm not. That's just not the life for me. I don't care about none of that shit. All y'all niggas' dicks is bigger than mine. Y'all are stronger than me. Y'all are funnier than me. You're better looking than me. You're everything you want to be that's better than me. I don't care. I don't want no issues with anybody.
Right.
Y'all can have all of that shit, bro. Leave me alone. Leave me the fuck alone. I don't care. I do not give a shit about none of those fucking accolades. I don't care what y'all think of me. Leave me alone. I'm good, man. I enjoy my life. I'm good. I don't want any of that smoke, man. That's insane. I remember I was telling Duty and Von Marie about the last time that I thought I was gonna fight somebody.
When was that? Cause like when would this have been? Like
I don't know. It was a few years ago. It's ridiculous. It must have been like 5 years ago, some shit like that. A while ago. But it was just when I hadn't dated this chick, but like I had dealings. I had romantic sexual dealings with a woman at a point in time. I had met her in my interpersonal communications class at Nova.
Is this the nigga?
After we had that, like years had passed, and then we had started talking on Snap, and it was real cordial, just like hey, what's going on? And we had scheduled like we were gonna hang out, like just to catch up, and then
you got the snap back.
And then I got a snap.
Talking that shit.
After being like, so when are we gonna hang out? Getting a snap back with like somebody flicking me off, and just being like, nah, you limp dick bitch ass nigga, you ain't hanging out with nobody. How about you go sell some tea with your limp dick ass? Whatever. And I'm just like, why am I receiving this disrespect right now?
Okay.
Now, I laugh at even being riled up to the point of even thinking about fighting someone that sent me that. Yeah. But at that point in time, I guess I wasn't confident enough at the time, so I was still just like, who's this nigga think he talking to?
You know what? I'll punch this nigga.
Talking that dumb shit and then didn't do anything about it. I brought my ass back home and I realized I don't want to. What am I gonna do?
If he's not right there, like
what am I really gonna text him and be like, send me the address, like I'm coming over to the crib, like am I really gonna do this? It's like, no, I have to realize that one, she's in a toxic relationship that she doesn't understand, right? Because she's hanging out with a dude where she feels like she has to pledge her loyalty to him by burning a bridge with a good dude that was simply just an old friend of hers, right? So he believes that she is loyal to him now. And so you're dating someone that you feel like you have to do that for, which is fucking weird. And you're actually dating someone that you have to do that for. So it's doubly fucked because you're actually right in that. And you're weird for even being in that relationship. And I'm certain that shit ended catastrophically. Yeah. I'm certain of it. If it's there's just certain things that just you can spot them a mile away. Right, that's not going to go well.
Of course, yeah.
It's not.
Just now being seasoned.
Yeah.
Like you just gotta literally live and learn, kind of thing.
Yeah, I know, man. Like for young girls, they're the most impressionable, and so Duty and I were talking about some of the guys that we know that have grown up around the city that have ended up in some really weird underage sexual scandals and shit like that. Oh. And you know them. You know them. And it's weird when the younger thing is like it's a weird conversation because when we talk about like a consensual age, right, for people, it differs in different places.
It does.
So that's weird, right? Like if you're in fucking California, I'm pretty certain it's different. But I believe that neurologically speaking, which is why we even have these rules in place, somehow your brain isn't really done developing till around 25, 26.
Yeah.
But you're at legal age at 18.
Can't drink till 21.
Can't drink till 21, but can go to war at 18.
Yeah.
Can't get the cigarettes till 21.
Yeah.
Like it's a bunch of weird shit going on. But for me, I need to know, like, if you're dating someone that's younger, for me, it's just like, who is that person? Yeah, like, I need to know who is that particular human being? Because you may have a certain connection with them that I don't understand, or it might be that they're precocious. They are beyond their years. Like, they're just like much more matured and evolved than the other 20, 21-year-olds or something like that.
Mm-hmm. I mean, a really big, what's the word for it? Indicator of what you're dealing with is the level of social media use.
You think so?
Yeah.
Because do you feel like if you're older, you just have other things to be doing than to be on social media?
I think if you're older, you're less likely to let social media like really impress upon you.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying.
You know what I mean?
That level in which
we grew up with it and kind of merged with it, but there's people who are like born and it's this there. It's the thing always.
Yeah, you're born into the space.
We know that it's like something separate from us. I feel like we're like the last of the Mohicans, to where like it's easy to separate ourselves from that and to be like, man, that's just Instagram. That's just Twitter.
So, okay, so wait a minute. So now I think I'm getting what you're saying. So you're saying that the younger they cut off, like the younger you get, like, so once you see someone that's using social media to a certain degree, you should probably like,
yeah.
Like,
and you're
why are you so?
Age, it's like, oh yeah, it's got you.
Yeah.
Got you. It's already got you.
Do you also feel like you can't really date outside of those worlds? Like if you're someone that is indoctrinated with social media, you pretty much need to also date someone that is like, if you try to date someone that is, as you said, one of the last of the Mohicans, like one of us, where we don't look at social media the same way they do, we don't live and die by it the same way they do you think you could, like, those two people can even really?
I mean,
it's a weird world. It's a weird generational gap.
Yep,
that one's a weird gap.
It's a very good, like, line in the sand right there.
Yeah, because I don't know if I feel that way. Do you think that we are more different from the past generation, like our parents, than we are of the young ones now?
Yes.
You think we're more different than the people that our predecessors than our successors are of us? Or do you think it can even be measured that way?
It's exponential, so it's hard to measure, because I think it's like a it's like a
X-Men. Okay.
It's not like a line graph, like a very Y equals MXB. I think it's like the younger you, like, now it's harder now, so it's
but all right. So you feel like the difference between them, the younger generation, and us is a much greater difference than between us and your dad.
That's a really hard one to look at.
Because what are the major changes between them, like our parents and us, versus us and our children?
Right.
I feel like that's a much larger change in things than our parents to us.
Yeah, it would seem that way.
If you're talking about the technological age being sort of the catalyst for that exponential growth, then it would have to be that way. Like, they would have to be just growing up in a different world that we don't truly understand right now. Which would be the same thing for our parents and us, but I think it's easier to understand it.
Yeah.
I think it's much easier.
It's weird now, because now our parents' generation is integrated with it too.
Right.
So it would have been an easier thing to look at, like, when they weren't really as active on it. It's hard. I'm trying to think, man.
Yeah, but I love the way the old people interact with social media.
Because they be hooked too on it.
I know. I've seen like my mom would get on TikTok
They be on it.
and she just scrolls now. I mean, it may not,
but at the same time, I don't think that they live their life for it. I think it's just very entertaining for them. It's like the replacement of the newspaper for them,
right?
In a way,
yeah.
You know?
Well, yeah, they're older people now, so they're not just gonna look at it and then start changing like their wardrobe and shit like that.
And now that they can, like, reconnect with people from, like, their past, they're like, oh shit, I can go find. I ain't talked to them in 25 years.
Yeah, that's why I said I love the way the old people use it, because they use it for, like, the real network.
Yeah, like, they reconnect the shit. So
and trying to have real conversations with people and shit and share things.
Like, they're not trying to, like, build a life based off of.
No, they're not. This is what old people usually are not doing. They're trying to create a persona, like trying to create some persona of themselves online. Right. It's like, it's really just what they're interested in. Right. That's really an old person's Instagram, which I love, which is what I want my fucking Instagram.
But I will say that it does seem like there's a generation coming in that's, like, also separating themselves from what it is, you know?
They're separating themselves from...
It's a weird thing. It's almost like the system turning on itself. Because being aware with the shit like the social dilemma and with conversations being had on social media about social media, people are learning, like, it's just fucking social media and apps. So there's like a I don't know.
You think that there's some sort of enlightenment that's happening inside of it?
There's another generation moving in that's just like, I mean, it is just this. It is just fucking Twitter, or it is just Instagram. It is.
I'm not tapped in enough to know, but I think that's probably still more so within our demographic. You're talking about, really. You think that young children are becoming enlightened to that? I'm talking
about the ones that are, like, in high school now. The high schoolers now are almost like the ones.
Maybe a little bit more.
You see them having the conversations of, it's like, bro, you really letting this shit get you head. Like,
if you're getting into stuff, you have to be. It has to be a certain type of kid. Yeah. You got usually kids with friends that get out and do things with each other in the real 3-dimensional world. right? Like if you're doing that, then I could imagine those kids because they're getting away and they're like getting engaged, doing other things that aren't having to do with their phone.
Yeah.
So then when they go back to their phone, they're like, oh yeah, like this is fun, but I also love playing football with my friends or like going and hanging out and doing this or all that other stuff. But if you're the type of kid that maybe doesn't have a ton of friends and you're just in the crib, like it's
because there are sectors of the internet that I'm not on.
Oh, nigga,
You know what I mean,
bro?
This
It's
shit
too.
it's the ocean.
Yeah, bro.
It's the ocean.
It's everything.
All right.
It's everything, everywhere, all at once.
Yeah. Just from my viewpoint, I say the people that it's got the most are the ones that are really trying to like attract a mate. That's where it's like, where it's got you.
That attracting a mate shit is hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah, because people are learning how to become marketers of themselves. Like, what are the best qualities about myself, and how can I market them in a way that is sexy, that is attractive, that people will like?
Yep.
That's fucking hilarious.
But it's, I mean, like, okay, here's a better way to put it. The pendulum swing. I think it swung so hard for people to create a persona that there's people coming in and it's like, man, that shit whack. Like, why are you trying to do all that? Are you doing too much on there?
Yeah, I mean, there are people that are clearly trying to make a ton of money creating some persona that's going to allow them to get ad dollars from some fucking new protein smoothie shake or some shit like that you know, makes you lose 20 pounds in 2-3 days, you know, whatever the fuck that is.
If you do that, I'm telling you right now.
I'm just saying, you
are not going to be okay.
I think like the Kardashians had like lollipops, like little, like slim lollipops. So you eat this lollipop and you'll start losing weight. And people have all these things, teas, skinny tea, skinny lollipop, skinny whatever the fuck. Like people just sell all sorts of stuff online. So creating personas works for a lot of people. It just works for a lot of people. A lot of people, they're not trying to, like Drake said, these days fame is disconnected from excellence. Half the time I gotta ask niggas what their profession is. Like you don't really know people for being great at things. They're just people are just famous, or they just pop because they figured some little thing out and it worked and it's fun.
And run with it.
You run with it. You figure some other stuff out. You get some financial advisors. Hopefully, they help you get into some stocks and invest into some other shit. And then you do that. Like Catch Me Outside girl. Like you don't know what she's doing right now, but I bet you she has money.
Yeah. There's
just plenty of people just like that.
Yeah, there are. You see him come in. You see him pop off. You see like the little wave gets behind him, and then
it's so funny. All this perspective, whether we're talking about the people that like all the kids killing each other in Chicago or Detroit or Atlanta, or we're talking about this, it's just so funny that I'm not. There's so much to be tapped into. There's just so much. I would just. And then how simple my days are is so funny.
Oh yeah,
compared to all these things, I mean, my days are so fucking simple. Like I have no idea about any of these things, but they're always so funny when I hear about them.
You're like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah, like I just heard the story that like there's a guy that was dating a chick. Let's call him Jack and Jill, and so Jack was dating Jill. But Jack started dating Jill while Jill was sleeping with Jack's roommate, right? So Jack had a house and he's single guy and he's living with a roommate. Bill is the roommate, right? And then so Bill is having sex with Jill, and then Jill starts to realize that she actually fucked with Jack more than Bill. Right, while she's coming over the house and hanging out and all that sort of shit. So then she kind of leaves Bill. Not really. She's still dating him, but she's also now starting to date the other dude at the same time. So she's like going out on dates with one and then like fucking the other and vice versa and stuff like that. So this is sort of what she's doing. Then at some point in time, she just realizes like all the information kind of gets out, like so everyone knows what's happening.
Yeah.
And Bill's like, what the fuck is going on? And Jill's like, I'm sorry, Jack's just a way cooler nigga than you. I'd much rather be with him, so I'm gonna leave you for him now. So Jack starts dating Jill.
They all still see each other in the house.
Well, yeah, but then they also split ways as well. So but that did happen for a little while, probably like a couple months until that lease was up, and then they left.
That's when people start getting killed.
And then that's how you met your girlfriend. So we just have to keep that in mind. That's how you met her.
We talked about that on level.
Okay. And then long time passes, and lo and behold, he feels like something's not quite right. He's just like, I don't know, something's not right. Like I gotta get into this diary.
Yeah.
I gotta get into the diary. I know the answers in the diary. Goes into the diary. But for some odd reason, Jill decided to, in full, very well written, by the way, authorship of some hyper erotic contemplations of her and this other nigga now that is also Jack's friend. Right?
Yep.
We're gonna call him Demirius.
Oh, he's in.
He's not, but I just wanted to throw off the whole thing. So he's Demirius, right?
I know why she fuck with Demirius. Goddamn. I know exactly why.
So now Jill's fucking with Demirius, but only in her mind. It's not a real thing that's happening. But now Jack is upset, so he goes to Demirius and he's like, "Yo, Demirius, like, are you fucking Jill? Because I'm reading this and it seems like you're fucking her, or else she's just obsessed with you." Yeah. And he's like, "Bro, I don't know what the fuck y'all got going over there at the house." He was like, "But
leave me the fuck alone.
Leave me alone. I got nothing to do with this." And so when I bring that up, lo and behold, they broke up. But I bring all that up just to say, I like what I do in my life is just, it's so relaxed. It's just but I love these stories of whether they just be like, you know, global events going on that people have to tell me about, or shit that's going on with social media, or like, the latest rapper that died, or
it's just so much extra shit.
It's just
it's like, wow, my life would never like just get so stretched in extremes.
No, but because I lived it. Though. Yeah, you know what I mean.
Yeah, yep.
We did our time.
Yep.
You know, that's what's cool.
Yep.
We did our fucking time. I'm done. I told someone that the other day. I was telling Bella that actually.
Yeah. I don't miss that shit at all.
Yeah, because she was trying to get me to come out, and I was just like, "You don't understand. Like, I like you. You're cool, and you have to understand. I've been through this game before.
Yeah.
So when you go out with people from work, when you start drinking and having a good time, everyone's cool, right? Everyone's friends here. We're having a great time. But when the next day comes and everyone's sober and they just go back to work, people are weirdos.
Yeah.
And we're not friends anymore. They go off, they run their mouth, they put shit in their back pocket, little information, and they bring it out later on when they need it, try to sabotage some shit. Like, I've seen all these things happen before with myself and other people.
Yep.
I've just seen weird stuff happen. I'm like, there's no point in me going out and not being able to fully enjoy myself, because if I go out, I'm just going to be an observer.
Right.
I'm not going to be freely speaking around people that I know aren't solid people.
Yeah, I'm just
right. And they can easily get back to work. Like I don't want to do it.
I'm just peeping.
This probably sounds ridiculous for someone that does a podcast, but either way, like, I don't want to go out with you specifically and start drinking and say something, and then like, if they listen to the podcast, they listen to the podcast, right? Whatever. But I'm not fitting to just go out of my way to go hang out with you, knowing that you're not solid. You be dry snitching. Information comes out unknowingly, unbeknownst to you, because you're just loose-lipped. Like, you don't know when to not say things. Like, I can't. People are too absent-minded for me to put that sort of trust in with just, you know what I mean? I'm just like, so it's not even that they're bad people. It's just they're loose-lipped, people are stupid, and they have all these things going on in their fucking lives. Their life is chaotic. I don't want to be a part of that shit. And I'm telling her that, and I'm like, listen. She's like, "Oh, you just gotta live a little." I'm like, "No."
I've lived.
You're like,
"No."
Yes. I'm like,
I don't miss it.
I'm like, "No." I'm like, "No." You're 24, 25, whatever. Like, you forget. I was there. Now we're at the age where we start talking that type of shit. Like, but it's true. Like, I was there, but that was 7 years ago. We're a whole new person 7 years later.
Yeah.
Right. Like, that shit is.
Yeah.
I hear that like your cell regeneration, like death and they say all that sort of shit. I don't know if it's true or not, but we can at least say that 7 years is a
pretty good standard.
It's a good, it's a good enough chunk of time to be able to confidently say I'm not the same person I was
a different person
seven fucking years ago. Yeah, so I went through that. I'm not doing it. I've come to work the next day and the person I slept with the night before has come to work and told everyone. That's usually a guy thing to do, like when people are young, and like I knew that was a thing, so I wasn't even expecting that to be the fucking case. I came into work and everyone started asking me about being with this, and I'm like, what? I'm like, how did this happen? And then my friends was like, dude, I was just over there. She's just fucking telling people. They're not even asking. She's just like, you want to know what I did last night?
Oh my god!
And just talking. Yeah, she's just telling people. Like I've just seen weird shit. You just go out with people and they start talking shit about work, and then if you're quiet for long enough, they'll look at you and just be like, you're not contributing. Like, what do you think about this? What do you think about work? Like, why are you a detective?
They're trying to get into what you're thinking.
I don't want to come out to talk shit about work with you. See,
because that's going to be most of the conversation anyway.
It's just weird stuff. It can just be very weird stuff. I just know that you can't go to work thinking those people are your friends. I've talked about this before. You just can't do it. And there's no point in me going out and just trying to half enjoy myself.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, if I can't just enjoy, like, then I'll just do something else where I can fully enjoy myself. But I'm not going to go out, hang out with you guys and, like, half-ass a good time.
Right.
Like, if I want to speak, I want to speak freely. Like, I want to be whoever the fuck I want to be.
Like, I'm good. You lived that life.
I did it.
Work going out life.
I did it. I know what it's about. It was a lot of fun. And I think, how was I even able to party that long? Because I was partying a lot. Like, and it's not like partying like you're going out to raves and like people's houses so much, even though I did that. But it was like, just saying, being inebriated is what I mean.
Yeah.
Just constantly doing, whether you're working or not. Just constantly, like as soon as 7 o'clock in the morning rolls around, you and 3 other guys are taking shots, you're sipping mimosas, you're doing whatever, and you're in the mix. You're in the mix.
Going.
At your fucking job. Yeah. You're popping Adderalls. You're smoking little weed pens.
Just going
all throughout the day. You make a ton of fucking money. You leave work, and then y'all go meet up with some chicks later on at Top Golf and fucking, play golf.
Yep.
And run around and go to parties and drink and fuck and do a bunch of shit. And like that's, and then you wake up the next morning and someone else has Adderall pills and you pop those and you do it again and again and again and again. Yeah. And I was doing that for years.
And it was just
it was insane. And I'm done.
No.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I did that for so many fucking years. It's just fucking crazy. Another thing I was telling, because I've had this conversation on here with Keon a whole lot about traveling. You know, he was trying to get me, convince me, travel.
Yeah.
And there have been people that have misunderstood my stance on traveling. It's because I feel like it's come off as though I don't feel like there is value in traveling, right? Yeah. Hopefully, I swear, hopefully no one has ever took that from what I'm saying, but people have took that from what I said. Right. There are a lot of things that go into it, but you and I have talked about one, that paid time off is very important. If I'm going to spend a lot of money, I want to know that money is coming back into my bank account.
You know you're on vacation.
And doing that as a server is not really the move, because you're not really getting paid to be compensated for that time you're not going to be there.
It's a great feeling.
And a friend of mine told me, because I was on the phone with her the other day, she was like, Earl, that's kind of a cop out. Like, I served and bartended for years, and I went to Rome and Italy. What are you talking about? Did I just say Rome and Italy? Yeah. Anyway, but and I was like, you also have to understand this other thing about my life that's very unique. Mm-hmm. Since I was 20 years old, about 20, 21 more so, I've been working an average of 3 days a week for about 11 years.
Yeah. That's
That was a conscious decision I decided to make because I wanted that time. I knew that I wasn't gonna save up a ton of money.
Nope.
I knew I wasn't gonna do a ton of spectacular shit, right?
So you're just like,
but I knew that I was gonna be able to pay bills, have food, like be comfortable, and be able to do what I wanted to. Do small things.
You kind of get a vacation.
But you're getting exactly. I wanted to live my life in a vacation way before, because that's what people think retirement is, right? Like, oh, once I get old, like you work really, really, really fucking hard for 50 years, and then you retire, and then you can enjoy your life afterwards. I was like, but what if I start enjoying my life now?
And that's what I be peeping at dudes older than me, like the ones who are, 5 years left, 4 years less than left. I see how they move, and I just talk to them, and I see like, they're not out here killing themselves, none of that. They're not out here working all crazy hours like all these other people, and I'm like, so if they got to that point now, I'm like, why don't I just get to that point like now too? Like, what am I waiting for? Like, why am I waiting for it to get good? Like, nah.
Like you just have to create it.
Yeah. Like like dudes now, they want to work 12s. I'm like, y'all, I'm cool. I'll work a 10-hour shift because that works perfect for me.
Yeah.
Doesn't tire me out. I'm very close to home, and I can still get home and do everything I want to do.
Right.
I was like, I'll do a couple of those a week, but I'm not about to be out here like y'all just working and then sleeping and working and sleeping.
My nigga.
And when I feel tired, bro, like I'm taking off. like, sorry, I'm allowed to. I'm getting paid for it. Like,
right, I have accrued this time. This is owed to me. I'm not the entitled type of person, but I'm actually entitled to this.
Yeah.
There is this. Who did I talk to about this on here? Maybe it was Stokes. Someone came on here and was talking about the grind lifestyle. I think that was Stokes.
It was Stokes.
That is a weird thing. It's weird because again, depending upon where you go in the world, people live differently.
Yep.
Right. And everybody doesn't have a 5-day work day, 10, 12 hours a day. Like everyone doesn't operate the way that we do here in America. Right. It's fascinating to me watching people, and I mean this, break they fucking back working.
Yep.
Like they want to do such a good job, and I understand that. Like I like to do the best at things that I can do too. There is such a thing as diminishing returns, and you can put too much in and break the fuck up and not be able to do anything now. So you have to be aware of that. But I know people that care so much about their jobs and their careers. They put so much of their fucking heart and soul in it. They don't see their loved ones ever really. And and I know them to go to the hospital often. Yeah. Like their knees breaking down, their ankle, their back. Like they're getting headaches more often. Like this is failing, that's failing.
That's also, I think a lot of that comes from not stress. But I'm saying like not living within. What's the word for it? Like as people make more money, they start making the lifestyle match that. So now you're working as much as it takes to support that lifestyle. Instead of like working and having a lifestyle to where you don't have to do all that. You're comfortable with your lifestyle to where you're not breaking your back. Like you were just talking about. Yeah. You had a lifestyle to where I only got to pull up 3 days a week.
Yeah, like that's
you weren't out here buying a bunch of extra shit to where you had to go to work a lot. And then what happens in our field especially, guys start making a lot of money. They buy the second house, they buy the third house, and now they're having to work 60 hours a week, and they're doing the grind. They're working the 12-hour shifts. They're working the 7 days a week or 6 days a week, but like they broken the fuck down after a while. They broke the fuck down because they didn't build a lifestyle that's based off of working hard,
bro. Okay, so I don't know what the fuck this is called, but it's from the company Spree. It's not a dildo, but it does vibrate when you click that little button right there, and you put this on the ground, and you for your foot.
Yeah.
This is specifically for your foot, bro. this shit feels amazing. Right,
shit.
just sitting there, feels like it gets the blood flowing or something. Like if you ever got soreness in your foot and you just roll that for a little while.
Massage,
exactly, that's exactly what it is. It's just like foam rolling, or deep stretches. And when I think about this stuff, when I work and I come home, I'm like, it would be so irresponsible of me to not do something physical, even though I've been moving around all day, because my job isn't just sitting at a desk. I've been moving, so I've probably gotten 20,000 steps at work. But when I come home, I'm still like, I have to go to the gym. I have to do something. At the very least, and this isn't even the very least, sometimes this is the best thing I could do, is I need to stretch for an hour. At some point in time before I go to bed, I'm going to at least need to stretch for 30, 40 minutes. Because this is a prescription. Like this isn't just like some lofty suggestion.
Man, what?
If I don't do this, I'm going to be broken the fuck up.
That's why
you can't.
Man, that's why I love No Woe. I love just looking at the older motherfuckers like around me. That's not just like the oldest ones about to retire, but like just even 5-6 years older than me. I love seeing them like working and what they look like, and I'm just like, I'm not gonna look like you. Like
that's your motivation.
It's not even like my full motivation, but it's just one of them thinking points.
Yeah.
And then when I do go to the gym, I'm like, I know that motherfucker is not here. And that's why they look like that.
That's facts.
And I'm not gonna look like that. So at bare minimum, I'm going to. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I know, because I've thought that exact thing. I'm like, I'll be in there and be thinking like, fuck, that's why so and so's in the hospital. Or like, fuck, that's why so and so's like limping around work right now. Like, they're not doing this thing.
I was like, they're not out here doing this shit. I was like, that's crazy. I was like, I mean, I'm not out here trying to be world bodybuilder. I'm just trying to not look like that when I get older.
I would have only heard this from Duty, that LeBron spends
like a million
or roughly $1 million on his body and just recovery and physical therapy a year. I don't know what that looks like. I 100% believe it. I don't know what it looks like, but I still believe it.
He probably going to CERN, getting his goddamn cells copied, having a new body printed, having his brain transferred or something.
No, he's definitely you're ridiculous.
It's probably some shit, because
is CERN some? Is that like a competitor of Neuralink? Is that going to be like a competitor?
No, CERN is
what is CERN?
CERN. I've never talked to you about CERN.
No.
Oh man, it's like a troll thing, but it's a real thing that I be doing.
Oh no, I don't know what that is.
Okay, so CERN is a collection of scientists. I forget what it stands for exactly, but they have a hydrogen collider.
Okay.
And it's like big ass tubes, probably like the size of this apartment. They go in a big circle, like a mile circle, and they slam together atoms. Because they're trying to recreate like the energy from like the Big Bang and like black holes and shit. To study like matter at its smallest shit.
Okay.
And like the joke is that like CERN like has created portals and shit doing that, and they're like, they're like the leaders and why the world's all fucked up, because they did some shit. They didn't collided our universe by doing some shit they shouldn't have been doing.
Yeah, fucking around with time. That always fucks things up in every movie we've ever seen. Where the people are time jumping.
And there's people who are like seriously believe like, oh yo, CERN, they didn't slam together atoms at a rate, and they created a black hole, and they merged our universe with another one.
Oh god.
And that's why like the what's that shit called, the Mandela effect exists, because some of us
where we think that certain
it's like
things
a collective remembers it's a certain way, and we're like, bro, it was that way. No, it was this way.
Right, like the one that was we all believe that there was some movie in which
that Shaq was
not Shaq. Sinbad was a genie. Yeah.
And they were like, no, that movie never existed.
And I was like, get the fuck out of here.
That movie existed. I don't care what nobody says.
I'm like, hold on a second.
That movie existed, dog. I swear.
There has to be some. It may not be a movie, but there's something with him as a genie in it somewhere. There's gotta be.
It was called, what was he? Well, not Shazam.
It's not Shazam, because that's the one with Shaq.
Yeah. It was something else.
I don't know. See, that's the thing. That's the thing.
Yeah,
I don't know. That is weird. And then, but I do believe. Yeah, I'm certain that at the very least, LeBron has gone to other countries and gotten stem cells. Stem cells.
He just did that this year.
Oh, okay, yeah.
He tore a tendon in his foot, and like he went over there for a stem cell thing, and that shit regrew, and he's playing basketball now. And he's not supposed to be, and it's like, nigga.
Yes, that's the thing. It's so. people forget that you don't have to be LeBron, but you are a human being that
You
has
can do what you can do.
Yeah, exactly. And you want to be able to continue to do those
Everybody has outside, unless you live in like Chicago and niggas are shooting. But, but everybody can go outside and go run.
Yeah, Valerie and I have been in the gym, and as you've heard me talk about on the podcast, I've been just really into like a lot of body weight exercises. Still doing like resistance with weights and all that sort of stuff, but all of the movements being a whole lot more like mindful, slower. So like your muscles engaged lot longer.
We'll do every so often. We'll do like 2 or 3 weeks of that. Them Jones be low key. They be the harder workout.
Yeah, for sure. Like they attack your muscles differently.
Yeah,
because your muscles like engage the entire time.
That's exactly the word the blades will use. Like you will go slow on the part where you're like tension is engaged in this way, and then you got to come back up fast, and then it's like control.
Yeah, super duper controlled. And you feel a soreness that like if you don't usually work out that way, you feel a soreness that you hadn't. And I fucking broke Ron Marie's ass down that way. And
you have to go much lighter than what you're
much lighter. You'll find out quickly.
You'll find out quickly
that you're not fitting to do this. For you could have gotten through a whole set, but you're not fitting to do the next 3. If you like, because I'll be doing like 4 sets. Like you're not fitting to do the next 3 sets.
We did one. She called it the Iron Cross. Heard of that one?
No.
It's where you come up slow, both arms.
Okay, then out fast,
and then back slow.
Oh no,
and then down fast.
Oh no, that's
right.
Yeah, that's
right.
A lot.
You get to do 40 of those.
You just in a row?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna need like some 2.5. Some I'm gonna need some 2.5s.
I did some 10s.
Oh, you was bugging. Yeah. You were bugging.
I mean, like
you were bugging.
I mean, you can get through. No. You don't do it like in a row. Like the goal is just to try to do it as unbroken as possible. You don't have to do it. If I would have to do it 40 nonstop, yeah, I'm talking 5.
I'm talking 5.
I'm talking 5, easy. But like the 10s, like I think I did like 15. Stopped. Did like another 10. 40, bro. All this was like it was on fire.
Yeah,
with the littlest weight. I'm like, dog, this is crazy.
And what's best about it is especially the one that you're doing right now is you're moving out to try to get full mobility, right? And you're moving out to get full mobility.
Yeah.
And so it's good for your joints. It's good for your muscles to stretch that way. It's good for just the control. And you're also doing like people need to do more regular human movements. Like throwing things above your head, reaching above your head, squatting down, picking things up,
things you're gonna be doing,
pushing yourself off the ground. That's what we realized today in the gym. Like we're trying to get her upper body strength there because it ain't there. Trying to push the body off the ground, especially various times over and over again. Like that's something you want to be able to do. These are very basic human moves.
Yep, I have to get up.
Can like asking yourself the question, if you're lying down, do you have to create a whole lot of momentum and swing your body up or like use your legs, or can your core pull your torso up?
Yeah.
Like can you do that?
I think about that's something I think about like all the time without even really making it a point. Is like just small things like you're saying. Like shit, every morning I don't even know when it became a thing for me, but I'm real conscious of putting my socks on standing up.
Oh really? Okay.
I don't know when it became a thing or why. I think it was because there was one day I was putting on my socks and I started looking for somewhere to sit, and I was like, I don't even know where to sit, nigga. I can stand up and put my damn socks on. I was like, what am I talking about? And ever since then I was just like, I'm going to stand up and put my socks on. And then like 3 days later, I saw somebody tweet that was like somewhere along the lines of real athletic. Or they were thinking about them past selves, and they were like, damn, I used to really put on my socks standing up. And somebody was like, damn, this tweet just hit me in the chest. And I was like, that's why I'm not about to.
Yeah, that's interesting. You also get more involved in feeling your muscles. Jessica came on here and she was talking about when she remembers like when she couldn't really find her lats.
Oh yeah,
just like feel them.
I remember when I started feeling my shoulders. I was like, dang, them Jones is like I could feel like you could feel it.
Yeah, it's weird.
It's something there. Like it is. When you didn't have a muscle there, that muscle's gonna have like nerves.
Or you had some muscle there right on top of that bone, but it was just but you just were not connected to it. Like you did not mentally speaking.
It didn't have like
it was doing whatever it was supposed to do in your daily life, but you were not paying any attention to it. Yeah. Right. You didn't know what it felt like when you did things with it.
Right.
So that's always interesting too, is like starting to feel your body differently. Like when I walk now, I'm much more conscious of like my whole 2 different legs moving, like especially, all the way from like my lower back down to my foot. Like I can feel the whole leg moving.
Start to feel, it's almost like you start to feel that your body really is like a vehicle.
Right.
You start to feel all the parts, and you're just like, okay, I can feel my shit like moving.
Yeah, you get good, and then that's when you know like what sort of physical therapy you need. Yeah. Like okay, like today this left back part of my hip, I feel like I need to do some work with that.
And you know when you did something different, and I can start to pinpoint back. Oh, I remember I did that. Like yesterday, there was 1 rep on a pull up that I did a little funnier, and I was like, that wasn't supposed to feel like that. I was like, I shouldn't have done that like that. And I was like, why did I do that shit like that? And I knew I shouldn't have done it. And then today when I was running, my back started feeling a little tight, and I was like, it's because of that dumbass pull-up. I was like,
that dumbass pull-up I did.
It's nothing serious, but I was like, but I'm gonna love that.
Right, and that's like a correction. Because I need to not do that again.
Some long-form neuroplasticity type shit, you know? Just rewriting the way you start thinking.
Finding new, better ways to do the things that you've been doing. Yeah, because that's what Vomir asked me. She was like, why have you been getting so interested in this new way of exercising? I was like, I think it's just been a natural evolution of exercising. Mm-hmm. Like I stopped. I think I have better intentions, and whenever you have better intentions doing something, well, first of all, any intentions, but definitely there are some that are just better from others. Like you have better reasons as to why you're doing something. Mm-hmm. And when you're no longer doing it at all, really for anyone else's benefit. Right, like you don't care who's looking at you in there. Yeah, you don't care how fucking buff you are. Like none of that stuff, right? It matters. Like you're done taking pictures to just like show off on Instagram. Like if that part of you is also over with, which it's been over with me for a long time, and you're just really trying to sustain life, like you're just really trying to feel good, then the way in which you exercise is going to change. Like all the things you're going to do would change. So then I just realized, I don't want to just lift a bunch of heavy ass weight. Mm-hmm. Like I can't even really lift. Like this is uncomfortable. It's an uncomfortable way of exercising.
When am I going to need this?
That's a good way of putting it. I mean, now you never know how strong you might need to be for something. Yeah. But for the most part, like if you need to be an extra 70 pounds or so to to do whatever hypothetical situation, like fucking lift a car off of a baby in the middle of the road one day, then you don't even need to be worried about that because it's not going to fucking happen. Right. That's but that's not your regular life. Like it's not something that you really need to be like, man, I need to get ready for when that car hits that baby's underneath that car.
It's also knowing your frame too. Because maybe you're just some people are just not supposed to be, you're not like, I'm not supposed to be out here benching 400. That's just not.
It's not. Yeah, it's not your frame.
Yeah, that's just not what I'm supposed to be framed to do.
Yeah,
some people are born with natural big ass shoulders, and it's like it's a lot easier for them to get their body to that point while still being like healthy.
Yeah, I think I've just started enjoying exercising a lot more than I had before because I was putting. Like it was just an unnecessary, literally and figuratively, just an unnecessary pressure.
True.
It was just an unnecessary pressure as opposed to like, let's get in here and let's feel good. Mm-hmm. Like, let's get in here and do whatever it is your body needs to do in order to feel good. Like, let's do that thing. Yeah. Period.
Right. And also, it also comes, like you just said, make your body feel good. I think that's you really separating yourself from your body, because I know a lot of times an analogy I use with myself is it feels like my mind is like a real excited dog, and my body's like the owner taking the dog for a walk, and the dog is like pulling the owner. So my mind is like, let's go do all this shit, whether you ready or not. Right. A lot of times, because I'm a lot like.
So you be getting it dragged into a bunch of shit that you're not really ready for.
A lot of times I'm doing or trying to do shit that like my body's like, bruh, Like we not ready to do that. God damn, we made a mistake with that one. But it's fun though because then like it's just I don't know, try to do the harder thing.
That's hilarious. I think just in general in life, there's just been a huge offloading of pressure for me. So for me, it's just all about feeling good and having a good time, like trying to do some new stuff, trying to do something that's kind of fun. Like there's this new skiing sort of machine where you just pull these things down.
Yeah,
and like,
I've seen those.
So I've been doing those. Like those are fun. I love ropes. Like I love doing rope work. Cables, like I love just pulling cables for minutes and minutes at a time.
It's a mind thing too, because I guess after a while, I guess certain workouts you could get boring. Yeah, you're just lifting weights. I'm just pushing the metal, but playing with your mind around. Box jumps, rowing,
box jumps, rowing's cool. Butterfly kicks, scissor kicks, like all those sort of stuff. Mountain climbers. Up downs, like weighted up downs. So at the top you're doing like shoulder presses.
Wait, what do you mean?
You know what I mean? So like up downs, like so like you get on the ground and you get up, but like when you get up, I guess you do a deadlift with a bar, like a barbell.
Oh yeah.
And then you come up and then do a shoulder press and put it back. Yeah. So like a burpee. Like a weighted burpee.
Oh yeah, you definitely get right doing all that.
Yeah.
That's gonna get you crazy, right? Oh yeah, you're going crazy.
Yeah. You do stuff like that. You know what I mean? But again, if you're not trying to cure yourself and throw a ton of weight on there, it's like manageable weight that you can still get like the whole fluid motion and feel good and stretch up at the top and hold and come down, and it just feels so much better when you're not doing shit for the wrong reasons. Things are they're far better. They just are. They just feel so much better. Like talking to people, for instance. Talking to people for me, it was like anxiety driven, but it wasn't, but not overly so where it usually stopped me from doing so because I was still talking to people. But I knew that in my mind I was trying to create something. Like there was some sort of objective. Like it mattered to me what the person would think about me, like whether I was trying to court a woman or I wasn't, or it was just some other conversation. There was much more of like a dialogue or a narrative in my mind about like what's going to happen when I get into this conversation. Like certainly overthinking it.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure. But I also felt like that's because of the intentions going into the conversation.
Yeah. That's
so things are weird in your mind because your intentions are flawed as opposed to just walking up to someone. And so there's this. I forgot what the fuck the name of the group was, but one of the guys was like canceled. Like back in this early day, like people were canceling him. He was all over the news. It was a group of guys that did pickup artistry online. So pickup artistry is just like guys that go out and pick up girls on the street, like you know what I mean?
Just go out there and
you start talking to them, and then you teach a bunch of guys how to pick women up, and you throw these huge seminars, and thousands of guys come and pay tens of thousands of dollars to come and hear you talk about how to talk to women and how to pick them up and how to have, courage and confidence and what to say, what are the lines, all this sort of shit.
Right.
And one of the guys was getting canceled in it because his name was Julian something. I forgot.
He sounded like a nigga that get canceled. When you said his name, like
Julian.
Like
that's so funny. Yeah, because I guess he was like wildly misogynistic, and a lot of like his game was like being really mean to them and like chopping their self-esteem down so that they would fuck with you. Like he was one of those types of guys. And so they were just showing guys how to do this, but one thing that I certainly took away, because all of it wasn't bullshit. Like a lot of it was like real stuff.
Right.
One of like the main guys that ran it was like, we tell ourselves these narratives in our minds, but like there is no perfect thing to say. Like you got to get all that smooth shit out of your head. Like get that out of your head.
You're not about to just say the magic thing. They'd be like, oh.
Yeah, like stop trying to think that like you need to be a wizard with your words.
Because it's not words. It's
not words.
It's more like, it sounds cliche, but your energy.
You're right.
Your energy, like your intention, they can read. That shit's read.
You're right.
Yeah, you're saying the words, like, but a lot of times they're not listening to every single
Fuck
little
no.
bitty words.
A lot of the times they're not. People are not very literal human beings.
How was our conversation like mashed?
Flowing.
Because
Exactly.
we could be sitting there having a complete disagreement, but that we're just flowing together, and that's how that shit works.
Right, exactly. So it's literally about anything. I was having a conversation the other day with someone on the phone. They were like for you, if you were to be trying to speak to someone you don't know or make a new friend, like what would you say to them? And I'm like, I was like, I have no idea.
Yeah.
I have no idea what I would say to them. Like I have to be there.
Yeah.
To see what's around, like what is the vibe? What's happening? Like what's around? Is there music playing? Are we in a doctor's office? Like what is happening?
I remember that. I remember that conversation.
Yeah,
so trying to make somebody your friend. Like, how would you talk to them? Like,
yeah. Now that stuff doesn't even cross your mind.
No, it's not. It's not like
It doesn't work that way. You have to ride the wave of like whatever's happening.
It's interactions.
It's just interactions.
Interacting with people.
You just have to kind of like let go of that. The word I've been using now because I watched the movie Soul again.
Okay.
Is jazzing.
Yeah.
That's what I like to call being in sync with whatever you want to call it. You want to call it God, you want to call it universe, you want to call it whatever.
And his ass started ripping in. They were like, oh shit, this is cool.
Jazzing. Yeah. Like that's just what it is. Like you just found yourself in the zone and you're just doing whatever it is in that moment. That's what the conversation is for me. You're right. It's not just literal speak. Like I'm going to say these words and then you're going to compute them and analyze them and you're going to say the most appropriate response back to that thing. And we're going to keep doing that over and over and over. Like, no, that's not that. You may find yourself, intrigued or energized by some very scholarly people. I like to listen to scholarly people talk, every now and again, and that is the format of the conversation. Like it is information, and it's
that's
not
just crazy.
It is. It's a different way of communicating.
Those conversations are crazy. I've listened to a few of those, and that shit's wild.
It's just high computers talking to each other. It's just information. It's not about trying to make the other person feel comfortable or having jokes and laughing or sharing intimate stories about oneself and you feeling that and you get none of that shit. Just data.
Yeah.
Just data. But but the more and more you do it, like you do get to realize that it is just like this real feely thing. Like most of your words don't really even like people are not registering those things.
That's why people they'll beat themselves up about why did they see that shit?
Yeah,
it's like, bro,
dude, leave it. That person probably didn't think about it, doesn't know. Like it's not that fucking big of a deal.
Nope.
But that is such the truth that it just. You literally start talking to someone about fucking anything. Yep. I do it all the time.
Me too.
Just literally
all the time.
Anything. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, because I'll just jump in and see what they think, say what I think, find with common ground. I don't know.
Yeah, I think a lot of it. Yeah, I think it is human. I think a lot of it is just that we've had some sort of understanding of the energies we're talking about.
Well, like you said, so it comes with intention. Like
why are you doing it? Yeah. And again, the conversation has gotten much better now because again, you're not doing any sly shit behind the scenes. Like you're not doing any of that weird shit.
Yeah.
So you can just go there and just whatever the fuck happens.
Yeah. You don't care. I'm just.
Literally don't care. Like if this ends up weird for you or we just stop talking at some point in time, then that's just the way that ended.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's interesting, man. Your intentions truly do change the outcome of just like everything that you're doing and the way that you feel about it while it's happening. That's a huge thing as well too. Mm-hmm. I've often run into an issue with like someone or something and I'm like, all right.
I know what you're about to keep
like every time in the past I've been able to change my perspective and I realized that I was the issue. Like I could get out of it, but it's like it's my mind holding me back. Like I'm looking at it the wrong way.
Yeah.
But like right now I'm inclined to say like it's that person's fault. Yeah. Like they're an idiot and it's their fault. Then it just keeps happening. You just keep realizing like, oh nope, I needed to just shift my perspective again. I just needed to jazz with it as opposed to resisting it.
Mm-hmm.
And then that just becomes reinforced time and time and time again.
Right.
And you just get better at doing that thing and jazzing with all the things that you would have resisted in the past that would have made your life worse or would have made the quality of life, it maybe your job worse or with your relationship worse or whatever. And then you start to realize that you can truly just make things that you used to dislike. You can actually find a way to like them.
Yeah.
Like you can engage with them on a level that makes you see things that you hadn't seen before.
Yep. You're like, oh shit. Now you start to really see not their perspective, but you stop thinking about their words and more about their intention again.
Yeah, yeah.
And then that gives you a way better perspective of what they're really thinking.
Mm.
And then you're able to respond and like jazz better with them.
Yeah, for sure.
Later on. Like, cause there's definitely times when I've had interactions with people. I'm just like, oh, that was weird. And then again, I'm like, man, are they weird or like, what the fuck? And I'm thinking like,
they weird?
Oh, they're trying to do this. They're trying to, but it's just coming out that way. And I'm like, oh, okay. I get the little game they're playing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I often do that.
It's always fun.
Yeah, people are often, again, they're a lot of times anxiety driven. Like if you know that that's where you were at a point in time, you understand that people are often coming up to you and you have to realize that as people are approaching you, they got a bunch of shit going on in their mind and they're trying to get it out and they're trying to seem normal as they're talking to you. You know what I mean? And you have to hopefully be gracious enough to let them think that they look normal and that they're fine and everything is good. And you're not judging them, bro. And y'all can just talk. Like,
man, it's all good. You're cool. You're good. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's funny when you start to notice it and you're like, oh.
Yeah, like I see what you're going through. Like, it's all good. Like, we can talk here. Like, I'm
that's always a fun time when you realize that.
Yeah, it's good. It's a good way to communicate with people. Cause like you said, you actually start to understand them more. Mm-hmm. Cause you're not just taking everything they're saying as like what exactly they mean in a literal sense. Because most people are bad at that. Right. It wouldn't make sense for most people to just say exactly what the fuck they mean.
No.
Let alone like all the complexities of what a human being is and how you would think about something. Of course, what they say is not going to be fully representative of how they feel.
No, not at all.
And it does make being around people much more enjoyable because you stop judging them as much. You stop judging them for being like what you think is stupid or like weird or whatever the fuck, and you're just looking at them like, all right, man, like you're doing what you can, you're doing what you can, like you're where you're at right now, and I remember some places I've been at,
right?
So
right.
I get it. Like, there's nothing else to really say at that point. You just keep living. You just fucking keep, yeah, it's fun. I love, I'm enjoying. I'm enjoying being a part of people's life at this point in my life.
Yeah.
I'm just doing some fun shit. This may very well be the last pod recorded in here.
It might be. I think so. That's why I was like, I'm definitely gonna pull up for this.
Yeah, it may be the last one recording. I may do one more and then move all this stuff out. But yeah, man, it's
okay.
It's gonna be an interesting move.
It's
gonna be a very interesting move.
Yeah.
Moving out of Manassas, leaving this behind.
It's gonna be closer though.
To my work? Yeah, for sure. I'm going to be closer to my work. I may have to switch gyms and do something like LA Fitness or something like that.
Maybe.
Possibly. I'm going to have to check that out.
Yeah.
But the meals will be better.
Why?
Because I don't cook for myself as much, but she will cook more. And then in that case, then I'll probably start cooking more because then I'm not just going to have someone in the kitchen just cooking for me all the time. So then I'll have to start doing things more. But ultimately, it's I'm excited for it because we're a good unit, and I truly think that we'd be a better unit if we were closer together. Like because
did you start not peeping, but really solidifying that thought after doing like vacations? Is that where that thought starts creeping in?
What that we're a really good unit. It definitely helps for sure.
I know that people say that
traveling with someone, and they say like something else is really good to do to know if you're gonna be compatible living with someone or spending your life with someone. But traveling's definitely one of those things.
Traveling's
and I totally get that because because there are going to be disruptions in the whole thing, and you're going to have to realize like how they deal with pressure, how they work with you, how are you dealing with pressure. They need to see that.
And you are directly with them for a long duration of time. And most likely you're going to be in a hotel room, suite or whatever, but you're going to be in a closer space.
In a confined space with them.
For a long period of time, and things are going to have to be done on the vacation. It's a great way to see.
Yeah. It's a great way.
It's a great way.
You have to work with the person. But I have felt this way about this relationship this entire time that we work really well together.
Right.
Like we both.
Yep.
Yeah, like we understand where the other one is just better than the other one, and when someone else needs to be doing something or what's efficient, what's effective. Yeah, we're just good at that stuff, and also it means something to know that the other person really has the best intentions, which are like we're trying to figure this thing the fuck out. Like no one's ego is taken over, and now I have to fight your ego. And try to figure out the thing that we have to figure out in the first place.
Okay.
Like we have an issue ahead of us. We have to figure out how we're going to get on this plane. The other plane is about to blow up. We got to get on this other plane, right?
Why is the other plane?
Because they said that the fucking engine was down. The engine was good. This really happened. They didn't say it was going to blow up, but they did say that the engine was bad.
Well,
so they parked it. So they parked
the out of that plane.
Yeah, so
that motherfucker.
They parked it
ever,
and then they were like, "We hope that you can find another flight back to DC where you were going, right?" Because we were in San Francisco at the time. I think we had finished one flight and we were in San Francisco.
Wait. So they just told you, okay, the plane can't fly. Oh.
Yeah, like
the people on the plane were saying that.
Yeah, we were already on. Yeah, no, we were already on the plane.
I thought the airline was like, "Hey, I hope y'all find a way."
Well, no,
I was gonna say, "Nigga."
Well, no, the airline, the people, the pilot,
they don't know about scheduling. They're just like, "Hey, we hope you guys get
another flight." But there weren't many. Like there was one other flight that was going out, and we just happened to get it.
Yeah,
but being on the phone with different people, going to different desks to try to find the information that we need, and we both needed to be in two different places and just trust that the other person was doing what the fuck they needed to be doing in order for it to work out. And everything worked out. But
great unit.
But yeah, you want to know that the other person is doing what it is that's fucking supposed to be doing.
That's what we talk about, like partner, like there's a task that has to be done, and boom, we're about to get this shit done as a unit, as a team. Yeah.
Yeah,
because that's where traveling got it for us. Like I was like, damn, we are like a solid ass like unit.
Yeah. So when you do that, you just feel like you overcome enough where you're just like, well, whatever the fuck happens, we just gonna figure it out.
Yeah.
Like that's the attitude that you get. Yeah. Just like whatever comes, like I'm not worried about it. We don't figured out a ton of other shit.
Yeah.
Like it's been bad. There've been days where you've been in here crying or fucking wailing, whatever the fuck is the case. Like something is wrong.
Yeah.
Right? We figured that shit the fuck out.
Yeah.
And we moved past it. And we laugh about it now.
Yeah. What are we gonna do? Get stuck in this state?
Yeah. Forever? Like no.
Gonna get home.
No. Yeah. Like and that's always been my thing. Is always just like, guys, like. All you have to do, listen, this is my secret. All right. When I preach, because this is a very cliche thing, but when I preach presence, the reason I preach it is because I know that I'm not the type that plans things out like super long term. I don't think that there's anything wrong with doing that. I don't think there's anything wrong with setting long-term goals and short-term goals and hitting them. I see how all of that works. Having schedules on your phone and the calendars, and I get all of that shit. Mm-hmm. That's not really me.
Because if shit go off schedule, it's very easy to for shit to go wrong.
Fuck, like now, well, this takes this, and then this is like domino.
Yep. Oh no.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's just like, oh well, the dominoes are falling this way.
Yeah, like okay, I guess we're redirecting this way.
I'm very structured, but I still at the same time.
You do still have room for spontaneity,
super flow, yeah.
Some sort of spontaneity.
Well, it's gonna go this way now. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, you just have to
calculate it.
So my thing is, I'm like, if you make decisions of who you want to be and how you want to live, then if you know what those are, you like truly actually know what those are in your heart and mind, and you're not like still trying to figure all that shit out. Definitely figure that out. That takes a lot of time and thought to figure that out. But once you figure out and you have these ethics, like, no, this is who I want to be, this is what I want to do, then as far as I'm concerned, you don't have to just like keep reminding yourself of that. Like if you have that down and you know what it is you stand for, then you have that. At that point in time, it's now just be as present as possible. And then every single moment that happens, you get a choice. Do you want to uphold those things or do you not?
Yes.
Like it's like so just keep doing that every moment.
It's funny.
And then you're gonna start living a life that is more aligned with what you want to do and who you want to be.
You know what's funny? Because now you sound like what I be saying. Now you sound like me. When I try to break it down, like just like to just do the thing. Just think about who you want to be,
right?
And just when the decision comes, just make the decision that you would make. It just sounds
but again, you have to be present, because if you're not present, then you'll fuck around and make a decision, and then you'll be like, "Fuck, why did I make that decision?"
Yep.
Right? Like if I make a decision and something goes wrong, I don't say, "Why did I make that decision?" I say, "Oh, I know exactly why I made that decision. That shit just didn't go well."
Yeah.
But I know why I made that decision.
Yeah.
And it is for the most part, lockstep with who I want to be. It just didn't go well that time, or whatever the case is. But yeah, if you just do that and you just but you have to be super present. So every single moment you're making those decisions, you'll just find yourself like you're going to start leading that life. Like if you start saying more truthful things, right. You start being a more truthful person, you're going to find that it's easier to speak truthfully. You're going to find that it's easier to get things that you didn't want to speak about before out, which causes an alleviation of stress. So your life is going to get better in that way. Then you're going to be able to see things better. You're going to start making better decisions. You're probably going to start having more truthful connections, which are more meaningful connections with other human beings. And it's just like so on and so forth. And your life is going to change based upon this cascade of events that came from all of these decisions that you're making. Yep. And that's as far as I'm concerned, live a good life.
It's just chopping down something really like a big task. You just chop it
down to the molecular level.
Smallest little pieces. Vince talks about that, where like it doesn't feel like you're actually doing any work because you just did one little baby. Right. One little baby. One little like. I could walk from here to LA by taking baby steps.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I got to LA, but it wasn't hard. I just took baby steps.
Yeah,
and it sounds, I mean, of course, you know what I mean, but
it's gonna be a while, right? But you're just taking baby steps to get there,
one step at a time.
Yeah,
like the homie, the motherfucking crazy nigga, David Goggins, and one of his 1,000,000-mile, 200-mile, whatever races, when his fucking knees is blown out and shit. He said one of the things he just asked himself was like, "Can I take another step?" Yeah, take a step. Like, can I take another step? Yeah, so I took another step, and then it was like, "Can I take another?" And he did that for like 70 miles. Like,
can I take one more?
Because he was broken down to like having to walk, and he was like, and then he got to the point where he could start walk fast, and he was able to run again. He was like, "Well, the only thing I asked myself is, can I take one more step?" Yeah, I can do it. All right, I can take one more. 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 Yeah.
Yeah, that's insane.
Yeah.
That's dope. That's a great way of looking at it. Can I just take one more step?
Yeah, like sometimes in the morning, like it's funny. Like for some reason, let's say I don't wake up as energetic as I normally do, and I know that it's easy because I have the luxury of being able to just be like, "Yo, I'm not gonna pull up today," just because it's because we're in the union, you know what I mean? And I'm always there. I'm very accountable. Like, so on that one random day in that 90-day span where I'm just like, I don't feel like going to work. But I'll wake up and I'm just like, that's just how I feel right now. Like, sitting in this bed. Let me just at least get up and get dressed. And then as I'm getting dressed, I'm like, you know what? I'll just go to work for half a day. Fuck it. They'll be cool with that. And then I get to work, and as I'm working, I'm just like, bro, like, I'm here. Like, I'm just going to work the whole day.
I'm just going to work a day.
It's that simple.
Yeah.
And that's what leads to me being the type that rarely calls out.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I know that I can do the smallest part of getting to work.
I think that whilst talking about being in the moment, this phrase that was it Brad had said on here, that you don't care for what you love what you care for. And if you bring that into every moment, it's the Adderall theory. Like when you're super heavily engaged, it doesn't matter what you're doing.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Like you can do it all day. I don't care what it is. I just want to make sure I do this the very best it can be done.
Perfect.
And when you're in it, you get lost in doing that thing. That's all that matters. And you can achieve that. Just like focus on doing that thing, and it will create a sense of pride in that you're engaging with it the way that you are, right? And then you'll care for it more, you'll tend to it more, and you'll find yourself with a love for it that you didn't think could have been there before. And I think that's a lot of maybe what people are missing in a lot of their lives. Like they're not tending to things, so therefore they're bored and they're dejected from life. They're kind of like they don't really care for it. They don't really have like a spark about life because they're not tending to things. And they're waiting for like a love to happen so they can care for it. So, but it comes from the work. Like you have to start tending to the things first, and then you will find a love for it. So it's a rough little conundrum that I think people are.
Yeah, it also comes from the, how do I want to say it? Like the thought process of, not really procrastination, but it's like when the task seems too monumentous, so it's like that.
Yeah, for
all
sure.
Right, you know what? Starting Monday, that kind of thing.
Well, that's just the procrastination part, but there is that other part you were saying of it's just too large, like because they're not breaking it down to that step by step thing. Yeah.
It's like it's too much, man. I'll do that. I'll start on Monday. All right, I know I'm gonna start at Monday. I caught myself thinking some shit like that, and I'm just like today's now. Today is now.
My friend asked me. She was watching. She was watching My Next Guest, David Letterman. I don't know if you've seen that on Netflix at all.
Couple.
But like Dave Chappelle's been on there, Jerry Seinfeld, like there's like Jay-Z. There's mad people on there. Malala Yousafzai, I believe is her name. She was like an escapee and survivor of like the Taliban at some point in time. I think they shot her.
Wait. What's her name?
Malala Yousafzai. I believe that's it.
Wait. Hold on. I gotta look something up.
Malala Yousafzai.
Wait.
I believe so.
How do you spell that?
Yousafzai. Let's see. Let's start with you, like the word you.
Okay.
Yousafzai. C-E?
Malala Yousafzai.
Oh, you got it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know what you're talking about now. Okay. Yep, I know who that is. I do know that. I thought that was another person who was recently blowing up. But yeah, okay. I know who that is.
Whew. Yeah. Anyway, so there's some pretty cool conversations on there. He's had one with Ellen DeGeneres, which was actually the best moment I've actually ever seen Ellen DeGeneres in. I don't watch fucking Ellen ever, but it was the first time that I saw her. Yeah, RJ's theory is that she's just too happy. Ellen! Whatever it sounds like, right?
Ain't nobody that damn good.
Yeah, he was like, why is she that happy all the time? Like, let me, like, show me something else. Yeah. I'm certain there's some times that she would like...
She did the Mario theme song.
Ellen! It does not sound like that.
That was the theme.
But... I never see like I'm certain that if I watch enough episodes of the Ellen Show, that she lets out some tears at some point in time talking about some story, some sad story. But this was the first time that she talked about like I got to see her talk about her past life and how fucked up and shitty the childhood was and really starting to cry. But he had some really cool conversations on there. Either way, my friend was watching it and was like, I feel like you should be doing something like this.
Kind of
right? Something like that. And she's like, why do you do what you do now? Why can't, can we get you to that? Why?
Nigga, I'm trying. Nigga, I am trying. Why you think I'm out here talking? All right, I'm starting. That's what I'm starting. All right, I can't just lift 400 off Git. I got hit 150 first. Nigga, I'm trying. All right.
Yeah, because I was like, I think it looks a certain way, like, because if you've gone through school, because she's like an art conservationist. Like, if you go through school and you work in these super competitive programs where you're fighting against these other 10 white people in the whole country that have the money to do this thing, like, it's a different thing, right? But there's certain steps to getting there, and these steps are a lot. They're not so structured, right? But I was telling her, I was like, often I think that if you look back in life now with hindsight, you'd be able to look at yourself 5 years ago, 7 years ago, and be like, I see how that person was getting to be who I am now.
Yep.
Like, I see the things that are holding them back, the dumb little shit that they still in, like what they're about to shake off in the next few months. Like, I see that person about to grow and make the next decision to become who I am today.
Yep.
Because you have that hindsight. You have the years now to be able to look back. I'm like, I think that at some point in time, I'm going to look back and be like, oh yeah, I remember that. I remember when I was on episode 165 of the pod, like when I was moving out of that place and I was about to go live with her. Like, I remember that time.
Exactly.
And I remember how that played into where I am now.
Exactly.
Right. So it's just like, we don't know how things work, but I do know that as far as the plan that I just laid out in the prior discussion is I am making decisions based on things that I like and things that align with me on a day-to-day basis. I am. And I think like this is, I have 165 episodes. That's a pretty hefty portfolio so far. Like, that's a pretty hefty portfolio. That's a lot of fucking hours of talking to random people. Well, not random, but people. Some of them random. Not really still. It was still friends of friends and stuff like that. But either way, that's a huge portfolio. Like, and not only that, but then I start throwing all these other variables. I'm like, do you know the things that I've had to overcome internally to be able to do this externally? Like, like, they're just things that I had to like clean up in my mind, just cobwebs I had to get up out of there so I could like focus and be here, right? And do it like that took episodes. That took many episodes, right? And just life, shit outside the pod, just life in general, to get to a point where I felt better doing that. So these are all kinks and things that like are being worked out through time, right? Because success is, from what I understand, which is a great fucking saying, when preparation meets opportunity.
True.
Right? Because who fuck know? Like, if someone just throws you an opportunity, but you're not ready for it, then once you take it and you go fuck it up because you weren't ready. You didn't do the work to really be able to have that spot yet. Right. So you got to do that work. So I'm like, I don't think that things, especially in the artistic realm, you can't look at them that way. Like, you just don't know how things come together in time. Like, we're too stupid for that. We don't have the sight to be able to see all the things that coalesce to make other things happen and to bring people to podcasts or to anything. Like, there's just way too much at work. But ultimately, I just know that I need to do this version of it. When I talk to her about the social media game and all that, she knows I have no desire to do that part of it. Like, to be on Twitter or anything for hours and hours a day trying to promote anything. Like, I just don't. I'm just talking. I'm just talking, and I'm gonna send this to Mikey, and then he's gonna put it out.
Break the joint down, and we're going.
And that's it.
Right. Like, you could fucking go to work tomorrow, and motherfucking David Letterman's in that bitch, and for some reason y'all just up talking.
I would definitely have a conversation with David Letterman.
You know what I mean?
I would definitely do this. Yeah. I could be doing this for the next 10 years and nothing happen at all. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, I could literally just, and that would be awesome. I would think that'd be awesome to just be some dude no one really knows, and I've just been recording podcasts for 10 fucking years. That would be fucking hilarious. Hey, I definitely want to do that. Where we at? Hour 45. What do you got going on? Are you raising your baby tonight?
No, shit. No, I ain't got no baby.
What's going on with the baby?
Oh yeah.
At this point,
she is.
Where are we? How many months?
9 months.
Fuck!
9 months.
Whoa!
Yeah,
that happens
9
fast, man.
It do,
bro.
It really do.
Life
It's
just
funny.
Shit just goes, man.
Yeah, man.
How's she already 9 months, dude?
9 months, 3 months till a year.
That's crazy.
What's
What's she doing?
Trying to walk. Like, well, not trying to walk.
She just trying to understand her legs? Like,
standing, like,
okay.
standing on things, climbing things. Like, that's her
Standing on
thing.
things.
Grab things, like, just still exploring. Just more. It's just, now that she's mobile, now that she can crawl like, efficiently.
Oh, yeah.
Like, she'll make a circle around and just go from here to there to there to there to there.
Yeah, I need to come see the baby again. I need to see the evolution. I need to see the evolution.
You're gonna be like, oh, you're the same baby. You're just more. Like
you're just more.
Yeah,
that's fucking crazy.
I definitely think that she's gonna be hyperactive.
Okay,
definitely gonna have the me gene. I can see it. I already know it.
Okay,
my mom was saying the same. She's like, yeah, that reminds me of you. So yeah, it's gonna be hyper.
Okay, so you feel like you're ready for that?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because I understand it. But that's the funny thing about it, because I'm very not even laid back. Since I'm observative, I know. So I like to observe. I can see that she wants to observe.
Right.
So I'm just observing. Like I said it before.
Yeah. You're
So
just gonna observe her observations and help facilitate them as best you can.
Her thing. A couple weeks ago was like when I was holding her, like middle of the night, anytime she'd see the cup full of pens sitting up on the shelf, and grab like a pen or two, look at it, shake it, all right, drop it. Next pen. Look at it. Shake it. What is this? Throw it down. I'm talking about like
that is hilarious.
60 pens. And I'm just standing there like, I mean, pens all over the ground. I'm just standing there like, all right.
Just
look at every single pen. Bet. All right. All right, bet. Like
that is so funny. That is so funny. Just looking at pens. Every single pen looks exactly the same.
Yeah.
Like they're all the same pen.
It's like, well, there's markers, highlighters.
Oh, okay.
So it's like an array of shit in the cup.
Okay, that makes it a little different.
Yeah, so she's just like, rolling them down. It's just fire seeing like human.
Just figure it out.
Just seeing human awareness, just like common to be. You know what I mean? It's just fire.
You feel like you're ready for all the energy.
Yep,
that's good. That's 100%. Good. That means that you still feel young enough to do it.
100%. Yeah, because
it doesn't make you tired just thinking about having to run around and all that sort of stuff.
Because I know that I had already built that background in being tired, being able to operate tired. Like I said it before.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I've already I built myself. Maybe that was the reason why. I don't shit if I know.
Yeah.
Like I know how to operate exhausted.
That's kind of what I'm talking about with this other thing is Drake had a line, it was like, looking back, it's hard to tell you where I started. Mm-hmm. David Lee Roth, who was the lead singer of, I just looked this up today, what the fuck was that band? Damn. Do I have my fucking iPad around here? Mm-hmm. This is so stupid. What David Lee Roth? Why is it not coming in? He was an old rock star, but he's also like a
David Lee Roth,
like a super eccentric guy. So he like dropped all of that fame in the rock stardom to go and like study the way of the samurai in Japan, and started getting all those tattoos in the old Japanese style where they just sit you and hit you with like a fucking pen and needle, like. You know what I mean?
All right.
Over and over and over again.
That's what you got to do, dog.
Singer of oh fuck, what is the name?
Okay.
Why is this not popping up? The lead singer of Van Halen.
Okay.
But he's an interesting guy. But I listened to him on the Joe Rogan podcast a long time ago.
Okay.
And he was talking about when people ask him about like how he started. I guess like his career in a sense. Yeah. When you're outside of it, you just get these snapshots of people's lives, and you're just like, oh, they did this, and then he was a fucking overnight success, and then it was this, and then. Mm-hmm. But like, you don't know all the things that went into it. So like, someone asking you maybe years later, how did you become the parent that you are today?
Yeah.
These questions are so fucking difficult. It's
that shit
it's like, do you understand? Like, it started when I was born, I guess.
Yeah.
Like, we have to go back.
Yeah, that shit started before.
Because you're talking about being good. Like, this thing that you're saying is hilarious. Like, that you may be better or have an edge at raising a young child because there were a point in time in which you were consciously making the decision to stay up for days on end.
Yes.
Right? To experiment with yourself in whatever way you were doing.
Right.
And now you have what you feel like is some sort of tool that will help you. I feel like that's what's going on all the time.
Yes.
Like, for you to ask someone how they became whatever it is that they do, it's like, fuck, like, how can I tell you this? It's like, I can't, it's been everything that I've ever been doing.
Right.
Like, it's everything that made me who I am. It's like made me the person that can do the thing that I do the way that I do it. Like, I don't know how else to tell you.
Yeah.
Like, it's simply because I'm me. There's nothing else.
Did what just felt naturally right. I just kind of just went in that direction. And that's another thing with parenting is I know that, like, we're always watching just to see where are the interests. Like we talked about the schools, what are the Montessori schools, and like that's like their thing, and like Montessori, they try to like just
observe them, let the kids find what they have aptitude in. Yeah,
and see,
yeah, that is crazy that it works that way. And we just, even from a young age, we're all just interested in different things at some point. I was having this conversation
natural talent
the other day. Someone was, because there's a friend of mine that does not enjoy human interaction nearly as much as I do. And she's like, I don't understand why you like it so much. Like, I just can't get there with you. Like, it's not that fascinating to me. And I'm like, it doesn't need to be. Yeah. And that's not you. Like, you don't feel the way that I feel about looking at human beings going through different things in front of you, seeing them evolve, seeing how they deal with certain stuff, like what they get defensive over, if they get vulnerable ever, if you see their mind change about something, like if you see them have a revelation in front of you, that's always awesome. Like, there's like these, and then also just the overall dance of it, like you're talking about the energy, just the overall flow of just being around someone and just whatever that is, whatever that feels like, is just
facts.
Yeah, it's just it's fun. It's fun for me, but it's also more fun for me because I've taken time to do that thing often and to understand it in ways that other people don't. So therefore, I have certain insights into it.
You were reading books and doing classes on psych and body language and communication early on.
Yeah, super duper. Overthinking everything. Because I was just reading books about it. So once you start reading books about shit, it's in your mind. So you're like in the midst of conversation thinking about all the fucking chapters that you've read, and you're trying to like actually technically execute shit. And so you're getting.
But it's funny looking back at yourself, because I know you're looking at yourself like, was I a clown ass nigga for that? But not really.
Yeah, it's like you kind of have to be a clown. Yeah. Like, you have to go through, because I was just a nerd for it, which is a great thing, because it just means that there was something I found a lot of interest in. Yeah. So I was a nerd for it. I wanted to understand it on a technical side. And then, just like I've talked to you and Keon about, I feel like you learn the rules, you learn the technicalities of things, and then you get to a point where you can now say, all right, I'm done with that. Mm-hmm. Like, because now all the actual nutrients from those things I've ingested now. Yes. Like, so now I just get to do whatever I want to do with that information that is no longer actually consciously in my head.
Facts. Yeah. That's 100% me with like sleep paralysis and dreams. Mm-hmm. Like, now it's to the point where it's just like, oh, like, I could just lose a dream. It just is what it is.
Right.
And I can use that to my advantage when I want to break down ideas and things. Mm-hmm. Right. I don't really have to be out here trying to help everybody lucid dream. Like, yo, you can do this too. It's just like, whenever that conversation comes around, sometimes I'll be hearing a conversation and I just kind of observe it, kind of dip in it, and I don't even really jump into it. Mm-hmm. Little do they know, the whole time I'm in there like, really like I could really like break down like so much of what
Right.
they're talking about right now.
Oh yeah, but yeah, but no, it's just
Yeah.
it's just all right.
Like what's the parable or what was the parable?
The
know what I'm talking about?
the tree, the bamboo seed. What were you talking about? What parable?
The man who was just like, no, I'm just gonna be quiet now.
Oh, you're talking about the reluctant Messiah.
Yeah, that guy.
Illusions. Yeah.
Illusions are really yeah.
Yeah,
And he
the
was just
illusions.
like,
Yeah. Yeah, the story of the reluctant Messiah or whatever it was called. The tales of the reluctant Messiah. Yeah, that's sort of what happens. Then I sent you one about that. There was like an owl as well. I forgot I had sent that to you. I'm gonna find it too because it's just like it's a big ass picture of an owl and all these birds like sitting around it. But it was a good one. It was one that I sent to you and Keon, I believe.
That's what I'm thinking of.
It is a good parable. Yeah, these fables are amazing. Aesop's fables.
That's
that's what you're saying. Yeah, Aesop's fables are amazing. They're so good,
man.
and they're so easy to read because they're such small things. I was telling someone the other day that like for some reason or another, probably this person let me know probably because I didn't train for it. Like I don't practice it.
Right.
Poems don't really do it for me. Now, I can read books. Like, because I was explaining to them, she was like, I think that your idea of poetry may be narrow because most of like the music you listen to is poetry. And I'm like, yeah, but there's bass jumping and saxophones and a bunch of niggas singing. There's a bunch of cool shit going on. She was like, okay, so you need someone to interpret it for you. And I'm like, well, no, because I also read books and I don't need anyone to interpret that. Like, I don't listen just to audiobooks. I actually haven't listened to one audiobook. So I don't need someone's like tone and cadence to interpret it for me. It's something about poems.
Yeah.
Like I read literature and I'm fine. It's something about poems that I've never read a poem and felt that shit. I never read a poem and was like, wow. Oh my gosh. Like I've heard songs and felt that way.
Yeah.
I've read books and felt that way. I've watched film and felt that way. I've talked to people. I've listened to people talk and felt that way. I've never read a poem and been like, damn. Maybe I just need to be better at reading them. Like maybe I'm not well versed in reading them enough.
Right.
Or something. Yeah, I don't know. But these fables though, they do it. These little short stories. All right. The Owl and the Birds. The owl is a very wise bird, and once, long ago, when the first oak sprouted in the forest, she called all the other birds together and said to them, "You see this tiny tree? If you take my advice, you will destroy it now when it is small, for when it grows big, the mistletoe will appear upon it, from which bird lime will be prepared for your destruction." Again, when the first flax was sown, she said to them, "Go and eat up that seed, for it is the seed of the flax, out of which men will one day make nets to catch you." Once more, when she saw the first archer, she warned the birds that he was their deadly enemy who would wing his arrows with their own feathers and shoot them. But they took no notice of what she said. In fact, they thought she was rather mad and laughed at her. When, however, everything turned out as she had foretold, they changed their minds and conceived a great respect for her wisdom. Hence, whenever she appears, the birds attend upon her in the hope of hearing something that may be good for their good. She, however, gives them advice no longer, but sits moping and pondering on the folly of her kind. Then I had to go look up the word moping because I was like, they kind of fucked that part up. Like, why is
sad?
Yeah, like why is the owl sitting off sad? Like the owl's wise. The owl shouldn't be sad about this. And then found out that moping doesn't have to just be like a sad misery type of thing. It can just be you're apathetic, like you simply don't even care what's going on with them. So that's good. And pondering on the folly of her kind. It's a great fucking fable. It's a great fable. Okay. So when it comes to me, I will often be in my home or just whatever. I'll often be doing something and realize in the midst of doing it that I'm someone that does the thing I'm doing.
Okay.
Like I'll just be at the house stretching or I'll just be like just meditating and be like, fuck, like, I'm someone that sits down in their home and does this for extended periods of time. Like that's weird that I do this. That I've conditioned my life to be this way.
Yeah.
And when you go out into the world, right, you start talking to other people, like you were saying, you go to the gym and you're just there thinking like that other motherfucker from work clearly is not doing this. Yeah. That's why they're in that position and I'm in this position. Mm-hmm. It's the same thing. You go back out in the world and you do all these things to try to center yourself and take care of your mind and your body and all this shit. And then you go out in the world and you start talking to people and you like, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
It's fucked up out here. Like, everyone's running around crazy and like sad and rageful or just confused and wildly delusional about who they are and like what their place in the world is, or like just like a bunch of wild stuff is going on. And again, you're gracious enough to just sit there and like observe and look and just share the vibes. Everything you're saying doesn't just have to be literally and logically concrete necessarily, but you're just hanging out with people, having a good time, doing the dance. And you just know like, fuck, wow. I had so much time. Those 3 years, or not 3 years, those 10, 11 years that I had working 3 days out the week gave me all that time to think. It gave me mad time. I mean, I was running around doing a bunch of other shit too, but it gave me a lot of time to think, a lot of time that most people don't have because they're working 5-6 days a week. They're in school. They're doing a bunch of shit. I wasn't. Mm-hmm. So I had tons of time to think about a bunch of ideas and think them through and all these different perspectives.
Taking a lot of mental vacations.
And then later on, I started a podcast and I just happened to have a ton of shit to talk about. Mm-hmm. But that wouldn't have been there had it not been for all those years while I was just sitting around thinking. So when, again, you ask, like, where did something start? How did you become this thing? Yeah. We got to go way back. Yeah. Like, everything gave the opportunity for the next thing to happen.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Like, if I didn't have all that, that's so much time that I had to just sit around and be with myself and be on that 11-year vacation working 3 days a week.
And you were just keeping your mind not free, but just busy.
Busy. Yeah, busy. Things just busy.
On what it wanted to be busy on.
So I understand. That's another part of the compassionate piece for me when I go out in the world. And I understand that people are, they present themselves to me. I see them walking up to me and I see the anxiety on them, and they're going to try to, because for them, going into human interaction is like, okay, human interaction, like, let's go. Like, that's a lot of people. Like, it's a task to go and really lock and engage with someone. Right. Yeah. And I know that that's the case. So when I know that's the case, I'm clearly chill. I'm respectful of that. And I'm going to try to make it as easy as possible on them. And so I know that they most likely didn't work 3 days a week for the past 11 years, sitting around smoking weed, doing psychedelics, just thinking about things and trying to have conversations. And they weren't doing that. I had a ton of fucking time. Just sitting around.
Mental exercises.
Craziness. That's so much time.
Yeah, a lot of brain exercises.
Yeah, I really chose a very, very particular and very peculiar life to do that for that long.
Yeah?
Yeah. Because while most people are like 20s, gotta grind, gotta save up money, gotta get these degrees, gotta do these things, I was like, nah, I'm good.
Yeah. It started even earlier because you said that you had asked Julian, like, don't you think we could be living like differently?
Yeah, that was how. That's what I had.
You can go back to there.
Do you think that we could be living differently? And he was on his computer. He was like, "Fuck yeah, nigga, that's why I'm trying to make this money." I was just like, "Damn, that's not what I was asking." Because at that point in time, I was looking up shit online, like, how do I get involved in the Peace Corps? Like, how do I go to another country and like help people?
Yeah,
like I was just like, no, man, I just feel like.
Yeah,
we're on a very thin bandwidth of like what life is. Like, we're not experiencing what we could be, and it's not about going somewhere else and seeing the world. It's just like right here.
Yeah,
like we're just on a very thin bandwidth, and we're not seeing enough. Like, we're not taking enough into account. Like, there's a huge part of this that we're fucking missing. We're just doing these dumbass things every day, and we're not like connected to something. Like, I know that there's a disconnection from something very important, and we're not, like, that's what I'm trying to say to him, but it just came off as, hey man, like, don't you think we could be living differently? Yeah. That's what I was trying to say. Like, we're disconnected from something immense that would give us a huge sense of meaning, and we need to figure out what the fuck that thing is.
Bruh.
And I don't think it's that dollar that you're chasing after, but that's your path.
Yeah.
You do that. Someone was asking me the other day, actually, this is the same friend I've talked about now like 5 times, because this is all same sort of conversations. They were talking about, well, we were talking about my father. So now you know that Earl Jerome Hooks was very smooth, very smooth old artist, right? Sculptor, painter, photographer.
When I seen the price of that sculpture that I walked past 1 billion times,
And that's just
80
one of so
bands, 80 bands,
right, 80 to 100, yeah.
That was more than the whips out. Like we were just walking. I was like, damn, and that was just one piece.
And so my father loves the art world now. Like he's an art connoisseur. He buys pieces, he sells pieces. He works with he's putting a lot of exhibits up for my grandfather, working with a lot of museums. Like
I was really into a lot of pieces and where they were going, and your dad being like the one that kind of set up the sale between him and this institute, and they were somewhere in like Chicago, Detroit, Illinois.
Yeah, that would make sense.
And I was like, damn,
that would make sense.
He's been out here making moves for like more than 10 years.
Wild moves.
It was showing that when the sale was.
For him, it's very, very important. Yeah. And my art conservationist friend believes it's the same, that to tell the story of the artist.
Yes.
Right. So he's going through and he's finding all these pieces. So after my grandfather died, he just had 1 million. Like he was an artist. So he was a hoarder.
Yeah.
And so a lot of the stuff was his, a lot of the stuff was other people's, whatever. So my dad took all this stuff and it just fills up basements and storage units. It's like so much shit. And he's putting together pieces with letters that he's finding that my grandfather wrote to someone, with like newspaper articles and clippings and shit like that. And he's just
making art from art almost.
Yeah, really. Yeah. Like he's making this huge kind of mosaic in a sense, like this huge scrapbook where he's taking all the information he can possibly find so he can give the most breadth to the story when he gives it to the museum curator or whatever the case. Like he's trying to make sure the story is told. And he's like, Earl, like if this nigga be serious about it. He's like, Earl, he was like, history is very important.
Yeah.
If we don't tell the stories, they're lost.
Yeah.
He was like, Earl, no one else is telling the stories. Yeah. Like, so whoever's job it is to tell the stories, to get the pieces and put the stories together, if those people don't do it, then it's whoever wants to tell the story. He was like, we have to tell the story the way it was. That nigga very serious about this shit. Definitely some old nigga shit, because I don't give a fuck about that. Now, I know that a lot of people do. I know that some younger people do, especially in this day and age. I feel like, especially for black people, like stories have to get out the way it was. The reason I'm bringing all this up is because my attachment to things in general just really aren't there. So once that art gets passed down to me, I'm letting you know what's fitting to happen to it. Okay. She was asking me, she was like, Earl, have you ever come across an art piece that you wanted to live with, that like you wanted to put in your home? My answer was no. If I was talking to someone and they start telling me the story about this thing that they built and they have it in front of me and they're like, look, I took this wood from this one place and this is what it meant. Like, this is what I did with, I'd be looking at it like, oh fuck, that's crazy. Like, that's amazing. Like I can appreciate it.
In my head.
I just don't have to have it.
Okay.
That's how I feel about stuff. Like it's cool.
Yeah.
I really don't have to have it.
I feel you.
Like she asked me this other question of, if your house was burning down and you knew you had the time to be completely safe and take 2 possessions out with you, like what would they be? And when I started answering the question, it was very, very practical. I was like, well, fuck, like if I have to leave, like I don't want to have to buy a new mattress to sleep on. I really need the mattress. Like maybe I can get the mattress and foam topper. If she's saying I have the time to take any 2 things, like I can get the mattress. What else do I need? Do I want, is it the air fryer? Like, what do I need? Like, but that's what I'm thinking of. It's like, what do I need? She was like, wait, Earl. Okay. She was like, this is hilarious. You're not answering the question the way that it was meant to be answered. I'm asking you about like a prized possession, like a thing that you have to get out of the house. And I was like, I was like, oh, I don't have that.
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about like something I really don't want to buy again because it facilitates something for me in life. Like I'm giving practical answers. Like I'd love to, if I can swoop up the pod equipment in my bed, that's what I would do.
Boom, I'll be outside.
Yeah, I'd have all my pod equipment on my bed and I'd lift up my bed and walk out. Like that's what I would do.
Right.
And she's like, it's so, but usually when people answer, they're like, oh, I got to get this. Like these are like prized possessions that they can't live with, not something that facilitates a practical use in their life. I don't have those attachments to things. When people try to talk to me about like buying things to have it, I'm not good with decor. I bet you I could furnish a home. I believe that I could furnish a home. I believe that I could go to a fucking Hobby Barn or IKEA or wherever the fuck.
Hobby Lobby.
Wherever the fuck you
Hobby Barn. Don't go to Hobby Barn.
There's some sort of barn, right?
You might not come back.
I feel like there's something barn. There's definitely is.
Not Hobby. You go to Hobby Barn, you might not come back. Right.
But you go one of these places where you get like a ton of random shit that people love to put up, like they put up in their backyards, like an iron peacock.
Yeah.
You know, just like a bunch of random shit that people just buy and set down somewhere. I bet you I could do that. I could furnish that, right? If you just gave me $1 million, I could easily do that, right? Or less than that, I could still do it.
Yeah.
But I don't want to do that. I don't want to spend my money and time doing that for my home. Like I don't need it. I believe that having art on your walls, like beautiful things that inspire you, they might bring something to you. They might inspire you. They might bring some, vitality to your life and to your space. I could believe that.
Thinking points.
But I also don't feel like that's just another way of doing it. For me in life, and this is a great Kendrick quote on his album too, is not so much about trying to prove things right or wrong, right? Like that's a right way of doing it. Cool. Put your fucking paintings up. And if that works for you, I could easily see that being the case. And if for me, everything being blank and it just being blank space works for me because I like that aesthetic. I like it. Something about it is freeing to me. That there's nothing there. I don't feel clutter. I don't feel like I'm just wasting. Like there's just things around me that I don't use, but they're just around. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, why do I own this? Why do I own this thing? What does it do? Like, why don't I sell it? Like, I don't care about this thing. I want to sell it. And so when it comes to this art that he cares so much about telling the story, making sure it's going to the right places and right people and all that shit, he ain't going to be around for what's going to happen to it later on in life. He's not going to be around because it's just, we don't have that connection as the grandchildren.
Right.
I don't care. I don't give a fuck about those things. Now, there's something very like sort of Buddhist maybe about that, maybe Taoist, I don't know. There's something very ancient about things just being gone. Like making something and then burning it. Or just creating something with 5 other people and it took you a month to do it and then just like ripping it up or throwing it away.
Okay.
Like I've seen this practice and it's a beautiful practice.
I see that,
there was an episode of House on Cards.
Okay.
Where like in the White House there were these monks that came by in the White House and they were like chipping like little pieces of like chalk or something like that. And they were just filling this monumental piece that had these like divots in it. It was like a table that had divots in it that would make a picture if you put like sand inside of it. Yep. And so they're like scraping off little itty bits of chalk and putting different colors in this vast fucking like pot or table that is eventually going to make a beautiful picture, right? And they're doing this thing for like a month in the White House, and they're just sitting there bent over this thing, just scraping off the itty bitty chalk. I don't even know if it was chalk, but it was just some fucking color. And they got done with it after a month of just sitting over and doing it, and then they just blew it all away, and then they left.
Damn.
Like there's something that's great about just putting work into something and having no attachment to it and being like, yeah, no, I'm done with it. Yeah. I don't need it.
That's fire.
Yeah, that's how I be feeling about stuff. Like I don't feel, and I haven't. I can't even look back and think about a time when I like really, really felt super just stingy about shit, or I just like really want something.
Yeah.
It didn't dawn on me until I started actually dating her that something that's huge for me and other people is generosity.
Okay.
Like I didn't know how much it meant till I was like with someone that was constantly generous.
Okay.
They're like the same sort of generosity as I. Like we're just if we have it, like we'll give it. We don't care. We're not necessarily expecting you to get it back to us anytime soon or maybe ever. Like it's just a way.
Right.
I grew up in a household where if you needed something, it shit was just kind of around. Like things weren't locked up in safes or put away in a fucking drawer underneath the floorboard. Like people weren't living that way.
No.
I shared with siblings. Like you just shared. So that's a huge component for me is generosity, and I definitely don't care about holding on to things. So yeah, I'm definitely.
It's gonna get.
Yeah, I'm gonna sell that stuff.
It's gonna get sold.
I'm gonna sell that stuff.
It's gonna get sold.
Yeah. And that'll be that. That'll be.
Yeah, hopefully it just gets.
It's same thing with my name. It's the same thing with like.
Oh yeah, I feel you.
You know, your legacy.
Yeah.
Like, do you care about your legacy? Like wanting your blood to remain here on the. I don't give a shit about my blood. I don't give a fuck about my blood. I don't care about the next hookses. I don't care about my lineage.
We talked about that till eventually.
I don't care.
That shit's getting mixed and washed.
I don't care. There are more than enough other people.
Yeah.
Why does it have to be my bloodline?
Yeah.
Like, why does it? Who gives a fuck about me? Like, there are plenty of other humans.
Yeah.
Let them live and recreate.
Same, that's the you gotta keep the races clear and separate. That's that same shit. Like it's cool to have babies, but it's like
who is the guy you say is my man? The and I'm black, y'all, and I'm
Dr. Umar.
Dr. Umar.
Yeah, he be wild.
Man, does he hate interracial relationships? He hates it.
Yeah.
He does not like that shit.
No.
He does not trust someone that is willing to have an interracial relationship.
It's crazy. They firmly believe that, like, I guess for the rest of the existence of Earth, there needs to be these separate races for the rest of the existence of the planet for however many thousands of years, millions. It just needs to be that.
It is so funny what people spend their time on. He really cares so much about that. That people should remain black, they should remain white, they should remain whatever. Or whatever they do on the outside, he probably doesn't care, but as long as black remains black.
Yep.
Like, it's so funny that that's something to get hung up on. Like, no, we need to secure blackness. We need to secure the culture. Like, we need to secure these things. They need to be locked from the inside.
That's crazy.
For us, by us.
Forever. That's crazy. Like,
it's just so wild to just dedicate your life to things like that.
Where do you think it's, like, I don't know. Where do they think it's going?
Well, he probably feels as though he's fighting the good fight. So he probably feels as though it's going the wrong way, which is black dudes with white women and whatever else.
He's like racist.
And and if you speak to older people, like I've spoken to them, and it's usually a pretty narrow view. They'll usually say something like, through all of my thinking, it comes down to black guys date white girls because of self-hate. Because self-hate, and because there's like a novelty to having something that you still feel like you're not supposed to really have.
Yeah.
Like it's, I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, hey, that's some people's... That's some people's response. And I do believe that there are some people out there that do hate their black skin and do hate other people's black skin.
Of course.
And so they do feel validated by dating with someone that they feel like is higher in value. I do believe that is a thing. That exists. I wouldn't be quick to just throw that on everyone that dates someone that doesn't look exactly like them, though. No. Yeah, that's just very, very...
The generalization thing, it doesn't work for anything.
Yeah, it's very closed-minded. But at the same time, again, having done the work that I've done, when I have had conversations with anyone that feels that way, I'm like, why do you think that? Like where? Like, how did you get there? Like,
I've never come across somebody in person that was that strong on it.
Well, I've come across people that will only a black dude that will only date a white girl.
Yeah.
He was like this. Yeah. He was just like this. He was like, I'm sorry. Like this is what I like, that skin.
I like that skin.
Like,
Well, I mean,
Like I like
you
it.
can't hate on a preference, but you
I
can,
like it.
you know, if that's just what he just needs, like, you know what I mean? If that's what his brain, if that's what he needs, okay.
I just need it.
That's what.
That's interesting to me, because I've always just found so many people like beautiful. Like I've always just found so many different kinds of people beautiful. Like it's so hard. Like I don't know how to. Yeah, like I can never turn that off. Like, it's so weird.
Yeah, it's just human. Like
yeah, it's just human. Like, are they? Like, what do you? The question to ask yourself is like, what are you interested in when it comes to humans? That's a good question to ask yourself.
Exactly.
Like, what about humans interests you?
Yeah.
That's a good question for everyone to ask themselves.
1,000%.
It's a good question.
And
then once you get into that, maybe you'll learn a bit more about yourself.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. That.
Because the things I like about humans are very, very multifaceted.
Yeah.
The variations.
The thing I like about humans is that every one of them is just different, and they all have a past set of data points that are the reason why they do things now. And it's just interesting to just break down them, seeing how they think. You know?
Yeah. And in my experience, I don't know what niggas is talking about on Twitter, but my experience is that when you're really talking to another human being and you're doing the jazzing the way you're supposed to, and you're not fucking being super judgmental and, you know, being an asshole because they think something different than you or eat something different than you, then they're willing to like talk to you about the thing. Yep. And it's not like really that big of a fucking deal. They just grew up somewhere different than you did or something.
Yep.
And then you just have a conversation about it. And then maybe through that conversation, it'll be the only way, probably, that they'll ever get out of that way of thinking. Yeah. Is if you're just having a conversation with them and you don't even care to change their mind. Huh. That's the way that I've seen it work the most for me, is when people like don't get my response, like they don't get my thought on what they just told me their thought was. And because I don't do it, they're just like, wait a minute, like what do you like what do you think about it? Because I didn't just offer mine like most people do. And I'm like, oh, well, now that you're asking, I mean, I kind of see what you're seeing in that, but like not really over here in this aspect. I feel like that doesn't quite really hold up. You just talk it through.
Like Daryl Davis.
Who Davis?
Name's Daryl Davis.
Daryl Davis. Who is that?
He was a black dude. I don't even know if he's dead or not. I mean, he might still be out here, but nigga, I ain't dead.
You was about to just throw death on someone's name, like, and this motherfucker's still alive.
Yeah, he's still alive. Daryl Davis.
Okay.
All right. He's a black dude who made a life and, I don't know, living, quote unquote, but going around and just talking to KKK members.
Oh, I've heard of him. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, he's talked a lot of them out of just being in the KKK. Turning the robes in. It's funny because he be collecting the robes. It's funny because he'd be like, I got this one. That's funny.
Bro, but
just by talking to him.
I mean, could you imagine what it's like to be a human being that is the type of human being that these people you are infiltrating hate? Mm-hmm. And you're going in there and you're not just going in there and surviving, right? You're actually changing the way that they think simply by just having conversation with them. Yeah. Just asking questions, talking.
Yep. Like how many people grow up normal life? Now it might be different. But and then just decide like 21, I'm gonna go join the KKK. Yeah. After having like no type of influence.
Yeah,
it might be different now with online shit. But
yeah,
for the most part, at least back in the original OG days, it was just how you grew up and lived. Same with like we were talking about, growing up in war zones in certain places.
Yeah, you grew up, and people around you won't all look like you, like they don't look like the person that maybe you are going to end up growing to hate.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't really know much. It's just hate is clearly a suboptimal thing to participate in, right?
Yeah.
Right? Like we can like it just hate is it's just that. It's like, just not good. It's not good. It's not.
If you truly, I don't know.
It's so, I mean, the reason I just say that is so you realize that the person, if they're working on a hateful software, like then you understand that they're working at a bare minimum, like they're working with bad information.
Yeah.
Like they're working.
Yeah.
And so that's the very first thing that got all across your mind. Like, well, there's a bug somewhere in this system. Like this doesn't make, like they don't know
they're missing
that there's a whole large group of people that are not what they think that they are.
Yeah.
Right. It's a very unsophisticated, very narrowed bandwidth again of life that you're seeing.
Yeah.
You're missing a ton of shit.
Yeah.
And you have to understand that when you're talking to someone that's like that 5 minutes into talking to them, they're letting you know exactly how ignorant they are to certain things.
Mm-hmm.
Like you have to know that they're ignorant to it.
Yep.
She's gonna be like, okay, well they're ignorant. Like they don't know.
Yep.
So how would I be if I didn't know?
It's
I'd be like them.
And that it's that way with RJ would tell you with like sports. That's like you talk to people who like love talking about sports, but you can tell that they don't really know nothing about. Like they don't really. They might watch the game that comes on TV, but they're not watching the games that are not broadcast. They're not watching sports. They'll look at just the box score or just watch the ESPN, and they got these strong ass opinions about what's going on in the sports. And those are the kind of people that like we just don't talk sports with, because it's just like you can tell within 5 minutes. Oh, you're very okay.
Yeah, like
RJ's like, RJ be like, man, I don't talk football with none of them niggas, bro. Like,
it makes RJ upset. Like, it sounds like he gets upset about it,
bro. I hate talking football with niggas. You know, he said that.
He does. I've heard him. Yeah, plenty of times say that.
He talking there.
Yeah,
it's the same thing with other things.
Yeah, you have insight into something.
Yeah,
and you just know someone's just talking out of their ass.
Yeah.
And it's just like, what are you talking? Like, what are you talking about? Yeah. Who told you? Where'd you get that information from? You just, and when you don't have the insight, it's easy to fool. Like if you're easy to fool. If you don't know something, then if all someone has to do is just know something a little bit more than you.
Yeah.
And then once they start talking about it, they'll have you fooled into thinking that they really know what the fuck they're talking about.
I saw like a video recently of like this white lady. She was like cussing out black people and being racist. And she was just like, yeah, y'all dumber than us. Y'all that's why y'all skulls are thicker, because y'all dumber than us. And I was just like, oh yeah. like you got somebody operating, they really think that they got all information.
Yeah. You know, what are you gonna do?
You can't argue. Like you can't. You're not gonna change.
Yeah. What
unless
do you
go open somebody's head up and show her like a skull in person. That's like there's nothing you can do. You just gotta fucking enjoy your life. Do your best to be you. And then through that, there will be certain people that meet you and you surprise them, and you might, just like how they meet Daryl Davis and be like, oh, you know what? Maybe your niggers aren't so bad. Like, not bad at all. I was working with a guy in like 2021. This motherfucker is a Proud Boy. And he went down to the Capitol. I don't think he made it in or anything, but he left like way later. He left after all the shit was popping off. He tried to go to DC. I remember talking to him like a few days later, and like his whole perception was like, yeah, you know what? I've been realizing, man, it's like the media mostly turning us on everybody. Like it's them feeding us lies. They want us fighting with each other, and you know, it's the media. It's all them. It's them. And he was starting to get to the point of like the light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah, just at least opening up a little bit.
All that shit, all that hate that you got was just bullshit. It was lies fed your way. So I don't know how he's doing now. I mean, it's been 2 years since I seen him. I don't know. But he was coming around to the point where he realized, damn, like I guess he thought, you know, Black Lives Matter was like his enemy, and you know, people who were Democrats were his enemy. He was like, no, he was like, I could see they're just turning us on each other, and he hitting them. And I was like, damn, I was just letting them talk.
That must be a wild thing to come into, like in your adulthood. You know, like in your adulthood, you still have this huge veil over your eyes, and you can't see past shit. You don't know shit from shit. And then something happens in your adulthood, like you're far like adulthood. And then, because you would say this guy was in his 40s, 50s, something like that.
Early 40s.
Yeah. To still like to be in your early 40s,
late
30s. And then have something switch, and you start to see a light and be like, wait a minute, maybe this world, maybe it's not what I thought it was. Maybe it's not what the media that I've been being fed is telling me. Like maybe it's something else. Yeah, man, my heart goes out to people. My heart goes out to people who's like trapped in this stuff. It really, really does.
You don't know what to do if you don't know. You don't know what you don't know.
I know. You
don't know.
You're just in it.
Yeah.
Not questioning the people that you're listening to, really, because again, you don't have the insight in order to be able to do it. There's just the biggest point of all of this is that there are just more followers than there are leaders, and that, of course, that would be the case.
Yeah.
Like that wouldn't make any sense for it to be the inverse.
Huh.
So you're just going to take the bit of time that you have in a day and try to listen to a podcast or a news show or a late night television show or something. And you're gonna fucking believe that thing, like you know what I mean? Like that's what you have at the time. So you're gonna believe that thing. You're not gonna, because people don't speak about it like, because this is what people could say. People could say, so I listened to the news last night, this channel. They were saying this. Mm-hmm. This was their perspective on this. Mm-hmm. And then when someone asks them, well, what do you think? And they're like, well, I don't really know.
Yeah.
This is just what I heard from this news station. I don't have enough insight to really be able to know, but like based off of what they're saying is this. And then you would hopefully try to get another perspective and be like, oh, well, based off of what they're saying, it's this. So what sounds like a good middle ground? Because that's probably more so where the truth lies. Like, so, you know, but that's people don't have time for that, or they at least don't feel like they have the time for that. So you just kind of like left up for whatever the fuck you're being told at the time. What's so funny is this is another thing that I don't even think about is all the misinformation thing going on. One, because I'm not out there actively seeking for mad information. Yeah. So I don't even know all the divide that people like talk about. I feel like that's even divisive. Yeah. Just sitting around just talking about the divisive state of things. Like, what if it's really not as much?
RJ talks about that too. Like,
right.
He was like, bro, I be feeling like sometimes it's just like the outliers, and since the outlier is so crazy, it just gets not echoed, but like broadcasted, amplified. So it just seems like, damn, all these people believe this, but it's really not that many motherfuckers that's on that type of shit. It's just that the shit that they're on is so wild that people are like, damn, now you got them saying this, and it's really not even like that.
Yeah. Some things are like that, no, for the most part, like when you meet people, at least. But we're also here in Virginia. Maybe that means something specific, and you go to other places, shit gets a little more drastic.
That too.
You know.
That too. Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah.
I don't feel that. And the only reason why I ever would give like a lot of the news my time is if I was thinking about future moves of mine and like where I need to be. Okay. Like, what's the vibe over there? Like, if the next opportunity for me is over here in Minnesota, I need to know what's going on in Minnesota.
Yeah.
How are they feeling about that? Which was interesting because I actually don't be doing the research that I need to be doing. Like, I just went to Maui. I didn't know what the fuck was in Maui. I didn't know if there were any dangerous species of anything. I went on a fucking hike in the mountains. I didn't know what was in there. I saw something small and black, like, run through the bushes. We never got to see what the fuck the thing was. But it was enough to like be something that you could see like running through the bushes. And it was pretty hefty. Like,
alien run past.
I don't know what the fuck it was. Like, for instance, the house that I'm moving into, I've never seen it.
You never went there?
Like, I've never been there.
You never went there.
I just told her go pick a house. Like, I don't want to.
Okay. Well,
the things that I need.
She went there.
Exactly. Yes.
Okay, but that's different.
Yeah, because the things that I need, she's going to need them and much more.
Yeah, so you trust that she made the right decision.
Yeah,
you know
for sure
what you need. You're like, I know if it's cool for her, then I know it's cool for me.
Yes,
that's different.
Yes.
Okay, I thought you were just like, yeah, we about to get this.
Yeah. No, I'm just
send them the bread. We about to just get this junk. like, no, nigga, no. I thought, okay, she went. That's different. That's completely different.
You thought I was just trying to stunt? Nah, man, just buy it. I don't even want to see it. Just buy it. No. No, it's because I just trust her to do it. Like, I just, like, it's that level of investment for me is not necessary in this space.
It's the same as like, cooking a meal. She says she's going to like get groceries and do this. You're just like, okay, I trust what you're gonna make. All right, bet.
Yeah, not worried about it.
I got the input. Okay, bet.
Not worried about it. So again, that's sort of the simplicity in my life
Yeah.
versus like going online and trying to find out and parse through all this fucking information and figure out who's fighting who and for why. Like it's just not really happening.
Right.
Yeah, no, I don't got that. I don't got that type of time. I don't want to do it. I'll just watch some silly shit before I do that. Like I watch the RDC guys, Mark Phillips and they're like these funny ass dudes. Like I'll watch them play certain video games because them playing certain video games. One of the video games are interesting.
Yeah.
And
their commentary is
so fucking funny.
Yeah, the niggas are funny.
Like I'll just like watching like friends have a good time that are funny and that are good at games. Yeah. So I'll just do something silly like watch that. Yeah. Just watch it.
That nigga's funny. Whole ass nigga, what?
They're so funny and it's so cool watching people that are just like genuinely friends and family and just do what they want to do, have a good time and just make a fucking come up. Exactly. It's so great. Yeah. They're just such normal people.
You could tell. You could tell.
They're such normal people.
You can tell it's normal, solid. No, you can tell.
Yeah. All right, yeah, this may be the second to last episode in here. This is crazy. Yeah, I'm about to get on out of here. It may look a little bit different on the next to the one after that. But this is episode 165 in this hole. Yeah, I know. Still moving. Thank you everybody for listening. We're out of here. Peace. Peace everybody. It is 165.